It's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Getting in the way.
That's right.
Arias trying to go the other way. Deep right center field. Lee's on the run. He's on the track at the wall. It is gone. A home run. Arias blasts one to the opposite field. Just to the left of Triples Alley. That's a long way, folks. And he hit it out to put the Guardians on top for the first time tonight. 3-2. Left field. Quan makes the running catch this time.
Double play. There it is.
Double play. There's your Gold Glove left fielder.
Up at the line. Excellent stick there. One down. Here's Rosmarinen. Rosmarinen. Back out. Jump back and shot. Score! To Bouchard. Reinhardt with the steal. Nice move. Left to the net. Scores! Gustav Forsling holds. The Panthers begin to celebrate. Panther perfection. The Florida Panthers win their second consecutive Stanley Cup.
And here's the payoff. Swing and a miss, and that will do it. As the Yankees get shut out for the third straight time, only the seventh time in the franchise's history, which started in 1903, that they've been shut out in 3 consecutive games.
And with that, we welcome you into the Sam Bourquin Show. Boy, we took it right up against the there, boy. But I'll tell you what, whenever I get a chance to hear a New York Yankees lowlight and that they had gotten shut out for the last 3 games, you almost kind of have to make room for it, right? That's exactly what we did. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN. We are, of course, streaming live all over the world at AM 1310 WDPN.com. Sammy B here, Ryan Rainsberg over there, and we are just getting cranked up for you on this Weather Wild Wednesday. It is another goofy weather day. We have had all kinds of rain and storms and a little bit of sun and humidity, and the rain comes back in again. And I think we're going to see the same thing again here for the next 4 or 5 hours. So if anything gets a little extra crazy, we'll be sure to pass that along to you here on 1310 WDPN. Also, hello to all of you listening and watching today on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. Make sure you like and share and comment as we interact with you again here on this Wednesday afternoon. Boy, a busy, busy night in sports. Ooh, that light's getting bright. There you go. A busy night in sports last night. The Florida Panthers go back-to-back Stanley Cup. What a machine that is. In Sunrise, Florida. That's where their arena is. And for the second year in a row, Paul Maurice and the Panthers have gone Stanley Cup action. And they did it at home. It was fantastic TV last night. I was flipping back and forth. Guardians, Giants, Stanley Cup final, Edmonton, Florida. And I know it wasn't even a Game 7 last night, but it was just, and it was a blowout. But still, I found myself going to watch more of the hockey than I did the baseball last night. There's just something about the Stanley Cup. There's something about when they line up. There's something about when they pass the cup around. It's something about when they take the team photo and the guys are on the ice. And I'll tell you what, the greatest part of watching the Stanley Cup finals last night, Game 6, Florida-Edmonton on TNT, you know what it was? TNT did not go to commercial once during the end of the game and the entire postgame. They let that baby ride for almost a half an hour. Highlights, interviews, shots of the crowd, shots of the Florida bars, people outside running around, more interviews, more highlights, player of the game, this winner, that winner, guys going around the ice, hoisting the cup. The fans were going crazy, the indoor fireworks, all the hoo-ha. And TNT kept it there the whole time. Not one time did they switch off during the celebration. And I thought that was really, really cool. If that would have been an NBA game, my God, they would have taken 15 commercial breaks. You'd have lost the feel of the whole thing. Not last night on TNT, brother. It was perfect. So hats off to TNT and the way they covered the Stanley Cup last night. I'll tell you what, Kenny Albert does a really good job of doing play-by-play. Of course, the Albert family, that's what they do. Marv Albert, Steve Albert, Kenny Albert, Al Albert, they all do it. And Kenny does a really nice job doing hockey. So that was pretty fun. I enjoyed that last night. And I think I watched more hockey than I did the Guardians last night. But when the hockey was over, I still had a couple of innings to go with the Guardians. I flipped back over, and they held on to beat the San Francisco Giants last night 3-2. My guy, Gabby Arias, hit a home run last night, almost got another home run, ended up with a double. And lo and behold, after a couple Our Fathers and the Sign of the Cross, Emmanuel Clase held on last night and got the save. So the Guards pick up the win. They're now game over 500 at 36-35. Tigers won last night, so no movement. Cleveland's still 9.5 behind. And I told you yesterday, we're not going to sit here, and I just did. But I'm not going to do it again. Don't worry about what Detroit's doing. The division is not there to be had, I don't think. So we're not going to concern ourselves with scoreboard watching of the Detroit Tigers every night, unless they would go on some crazy losing streak, lose 9 out of 10, 12 out of 15, then maybe we'll revisit that. Okay. But right now that's pretty much just a fantasy that the Guardians are going to catch Detroit. So forget that. But they showed me a little mettle last night. I thought we were in trouble early. I almost tweeted it, and man, am I glad I didn't. After the second inning was over. So it went to the top of the third. And that's when I switched back over to the Stanley Cup to TNT. And I almost tweeted after the first two innings of the Guardians game last night, I almost put out there, Robbie Ray has no hit stuff tonight. Be on the lookout. Well, I'm glad I didn't. because the Guardians would tie the game, and then Gabby Arias would give him the lead a little bit later on. But the way Robbie Ray was thrown, I know it was only the first two innings, but the movement on his fastball, his slider, his curve, our guys were clueless up there. Clueless. And I thought, you know what? There might get no hit tonight. I was like, hey, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy that posts a tweet, after the second inning, and Robbie Ray's going to throw the perfect game, or he's going to throw no-hitter, and then I'm going to come back after the game and go, ooh, this tweet aged nicely, didn't it? And give myself a big pat on the back and all that. Way to go. You saw it coming. Nostra Berkwindamus. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And good thing I didn't, because they scored the very next inning. So Guardians and Giants again tonight. 9:45 the first pitch, and then tomorrow, I believe tomorrow is 3:35, I think. A little getaway day tomorrow, and then it's down the coast to Sacramento, and the A's will host the Guardians Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at that AAA ballpark in Sacramento. By the way, we are going to catch up with Matt Underwood from Cleveland Guardians TV on Friday at 4:10. It was texting back and forth with Matty last night, and we're good to go Friday at 4:10 here on 1310 WDPN. Big show coming up tomorrow. Of course, it's a Thursday. We love them. That's our 3-question Thursday quiz. And also tomorrow, we will be playing a little Cool in the Gang tomorrow. I'm going to have my producer get that ready to roll. Celebration tomorrow as we celebrate the 9-year anniversary of the Cleveland Cavaliers winning that elusive NBA championship. So come ready to party tomorrow here on the show between 3 and 6 on 1310 WDPN. I can't wait. I might even dust off my couple of my LeBron bobbleheads tonight before I go to sleep. Hey, I don't think we celebrate this championship enough. I don't. Call me crazy, call me wacko, but I don't think we give it enough juice, and we're going to give it some juice tomorrow. And then I was already thinking about next year, Lord willing, we're all still here and doing our thing. Next year will be the 10-year anniversary, and that'll be a lot of fun. So tomorrow we'll have a good time. 3-question Thursday. We'll celebrate the Cavs championship. We'll get ready for Game 6 between the Thunder and the Indiana Pacers, and we'll have all kind of fun tomorrow. So no NBA tonight, no NHL tonight. Obviously, Stanley Cup is over. So I was thinking today, all right, we got the Guardians at 9:45 tonight, and that's pretty much going to be it. Unless the Dodgers and Padres are on MLB TV, I might check in and watch some of that. So limited TV tonight, but that's okay. That's all right. It's going to be nice out. The sun's going to, the sun. At least it'll be light out until like 9:30. So if you got some stuff to do tonight, get on out and take care of that stuff. Hey, our poll question of the day here on the Sam Bourquin Show, and you can check it out on AM 1310 WDPN on Facebook, on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. Here we go. Poll question of the day. People are already, you can probably hear my phone buzzing in the background. Question: how do you usually watch live sports? Not do you. How do you usually watch live sports? A, cable TV. B, streaming. C, social media clips or highlights. D, you just check scores every few minutes. So how do you watch live sports nowadays? Now, I'm interested to see how you watch them, or if you do multiple, like most people, I think, do multiple. But what's your go-to for watching live sports? Is it cable TV, streaming service, social media highlights, or did you just check your phone? Check the scores every couple of minutes. What do you say? 330-821-1310. You can text in as well at 330-924-7088. Now, I would ask my partner in crime over there, Ryan Rainsberg, but I don't think he'd probably have an answer for me.
No, I do.
No.
Yeah.
You do have a pretty good story to tell because you watched the Pacers. Tell that story real quick.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
No, that is funny. My friend and I were playing video games on Discord, and I asked him if he was going to watch Game 5. And he said, yeah, I'm watching it right now. So I don't have ESPN Plus, but he does. So I had him share his computer screen with me, and we kind of watched the game together. And it was funny because I was rooting for the Pistons, and he was rooting for OKC.
Oh,
so it was
going on.
It was a very interesting situation for me because I don't usually watch sports. So it was even more interesting watching it with somebody who wasn't really agreeing with me on anything.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you said something about you were playing video games on Discord.
Yes.
What in the bleep is Discord?
Discord is kind of like Skype. It's mostly just chat rooms so you can talk to people. It's what we use for voice chat. It's just something you can run in the background while you're playing games to talk to each other. And then you could be in a group of people in a lobby and one person can share a screen, or everybody could share their screen and one person can just watch everybody do what they're doing. So it's just kind of like a online social hangout spot.
So is it like I'm completely clueless to what this is.
It was very hard for me to figure out at first.
Is it an app thing?
It's a website and a program.
It's
you
a
can get it on your
website.
phone, your computer.
Okay, and obviously you have to pay for that, right?
No, it's free.
Oh, it's free.
Discord's completely free.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's how disconnected I am as far as the world of gaming.
The future is now. We're all connected through Discord.
I was like, he just said Discord.
Yeah. No, I knew when I said it to you. I immediately was like, Sam had no idea what I was talking about.
But you know what? I asked the question.
Yep.
And now I know, and everybody else knows who is listening. So guess what? I did my job. Let's take a break. It is 3:24 here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Today's poll question of the day. How do you usually watch live sports? Cable TV, streaming, social media highlights, or do you just check your phone for scores every couple of minutes? 330-821-1310. And you can also text us anytime at 330-924-7088. Back with a whole lot more. We'll tell you about our guest and a few more surprises next on 1310 WDPN.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Looking to beautify your home with all the colors of the season? DeHaas Flowers Greenhouse and Landscaping has 32,000 square feet of greenhouses filled with blooming and beautiful flats of annuals and perennials. So you'll find everything you can imagine and more. Their hanging baskets are overflowing with splendor, plus they have a huge selection of all your favorite hardy vegetable plants. In DeHaas Nursery, you'll find thousands of trees and shrubs on 1.5 acres. And right now, the rhododendrons are blooming beautifully in lush and novel colors. The vibrant blooms of the easy-to-maintain knockout roses will knock you out. DeHaas decorative bird baths, statues, and pottery will add the perfect accent to your landscape. Just a mile south of State Street on the corner of Beach and Beechwood is a wonderland of color. That's DeHaas Flowers, Greenhouse, and Landscaping in Alliance.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions. Telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
And we're back here for a couple of minutes till we get you to the bottom of the hour. 330-821-1310. Call in 330-821-1310. Guardians and Giants tonight, 9:45 at Oracle. It's Oracle Park. I was watching the broadcast last night. I was watching the telecast. There's a difference. I hate when people do that. Yeah, I watched the broadcast. No, you didn't. You watched the telecast. Television. Got it? There you go. Okay. So I was watching the telecast last night. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, I've been calling this stadium 15 different names the last 2 days. Is it AT&T Park? Is it Pac Bell? And finally I saw they had a big sign. They showed one of the big signs in the stadium. It was Oracle Park. And I'm thinking, Oracle Park. Now, aren't they this? They also sponsored the Golden State Warriors arena too, Oracle Arena. So I guess that must be a thing out there. So yeah, but that's a beautiful stadium. I hope to get there. Hope to get there at some point. But I'll tell you what. What was yesterday? June 17th.
Yes.
People were bundled up at the stadium yesterday. They were bundled up on June 17th. And the game started at 6:45. So, you're watching the game on TV. The sun is still out, nice and bright, to like 8:15, 8:30. But they even had they did a couple of shots of Matt Underwood and Chris Jimenez, who was doing the telecast last night for Guardians TV. And they both had their like a winter coat on last night. And they were inside the broadcast booth. I was like, yeah, that is so San Francisco. What's the old line by Tony Bennett? The coldest winter I ever spent was the summer I spent in San Francisco. And it doesn't disappoint. It is always a little on the chilly side out there by the bay. Hey, coming up at 3:35 today, we're going to talk to Sean Deveney from Athlon Sports. We're going to break down the NBA Finals. We'll see what the Cavaliers might be up to, and where will Kevin Durant land, and who will coach the New York Knicks. We have all that coming up with Sean Deveney at 3:35. And a real treat for you today at 4:10, 4:15. We're going to talk to the pitching coach of the Kent State Golden Flashes, my guy, Mike Birkbeck. 2012, Kent State went on that Cinderella ride all the way to Omaha with the College World Series. We're going to go back and take a little trip down memory lane. So you Kent State alum, you baseball players, moms, dads, you want to settle up close to the radio, all right, or the computer or the phone or whatever. About 4:15 today, Mike Birkbeck will talk Kent State and we'll talk College World Series here on the Sam Bourquin Show. We'll take a break. The news and the weather is coming up next on 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon, it's 3:30. Federal Reserve officials expect inflation to worsen in the coming months, but they still foresee 2 interest rate cuts by the end of this year, the same as they projected in March. The Fed kept its key rate unchanged for the 4th straight meeting today and said the economy is expanding at what it described as a solid pace. Fed Chair Jerome Powell and other officials have underscored that they are holding off from any changes to their key rate because of the uncertainty surrounding the effect of the tariffs on the economic outlook. Policymakers have expressed particular concern that the duties could create another surge of inflation. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a Tennessee law that prohibits the use of medicine and surgery for transgender children. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy reports.
Chief Justice John Roberts wrote for the 6-member majority, holding that the state of Tennessee can prohibit the use of puberty blockers, hormones, and surgery to treat minors with gender dysphoria. Roberts says the voices in the debate raise sincere concerns with profound implications for all, but he says the issue is best left to lawmakers and not judges to settle. The court's 3 liberal justices dissented, with Sonia Sotomayor writing that the court has authorized untold harm to transgender children and the parents and families who love them.
There's still no indication as to whether the U.S. would wade into the conflict between Israel and Iran. Talks between the Iranians and the Americans broke down, and President Trump has expressed his displeasure with the conflict. And an event at the White House today, the president said Iran is late to negotiating now.
Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country.
On Tuesday, Trump demanded in a social media post that Iran surrender without conditions. Iran's supreme leader spoke today, rejecting U.S. calls for surrender in the face of more Israeli strikes, and warned that any military involvement by the Americans would cause irreparable damage to them. A jury has found Karen Reed not guilty of second-degree murder in the death of her Boston police officer boyfriend, but guilty of a lesser charge of drunken driving. The jury handed down its decision today after deliberating for at least 22 hours since June 13th. The verdict comes nearly a year after a separate jury deadlocked over whether Reed killed John O'Keefe in 2022. Along with the second-degree murder charge, Reed also faces charges of manslaughter and leaving the scene for allegedly striking O'Keefe with her SUV during a blizzard and leaving him to die in the snow. The case attracted international attention, with many people siding with the defense argument that Reed was framed by police. It's 82 degrees and Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For your Wednesday afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high around 82. For the overnight, showers and thunderstorms likely, otherwise mostly cloudy with a low of 67. Another possibility of showers and thunderstorms Thursday morning, then again during the afternoon hours, otherwise mostly cloudy skies and a high near 76. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Looking for something fun to do this summer? Come out to Copeland Oaks for our annual Classic Cruisin' on Sunday, July 27th. Gates open at 10 a.m. with registration until 1. Enjoy free food, music, and lots of fun. Join us Sunday afternoon, July 27th for the Cruisin' on the Copeland Oaks Retirement Campus, just off Route 62 near Sebring. $5 registration for classic vehicles. All proceeds benefiting a local charity. Dash plaques and trophies will be awarded for classic cars. Copeland Oaks, family fun.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin program. Good to be with you on this Wednesday. It looks like some weather's getting ready to fire up out there. So if you're out and about, please be careful. This has been just an incredibly wild weather last couple of months. And boy, are we going to go into the sauna box on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So get yourself ready for that. Sam, I'm sitting out on the patio getting ready to listen to your show, and the dark clouds started to move in from the west. I picked up my iPad, my keg of Busch Light, and I headed back into the house. All right, I'm glad to hear that. 330-821-1310. You can always text the show at 330-924-7088. Also, real quick before we get to Sean Deveney from Athlon Sports, our poll question of the day: how do you usually watch live sports? How do you watch live sports? A, cable TV. B, streaming service. C, social media clips. Or D, you just check scores every once in a while. Let us know on how you watch your live sports. All right. Stanley Cup is over. Congrats to the Florida Panthers. Back-to-back Stanley Cup. Guardians play at 9:45 then against the Giants, game 2 of that series. Oh, but there's no NBA tonight again. We will wait till tomorrow for game 6 between the Pacers and Oklahoma City. Good day to have on Sean Deveney from Athlon Sports to break down a little NBA on the Sam Bourquin Show. Sean, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well, Sam. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm tired of waiting for the next game, brother. We need to play these games every other night. I know they'll never do it, but I'm going to keep fighting a good fight for it. So what do you think? What's the latest on Tyrese Halliburton? Will he be able to go tomorrow night, or are the Pacers going to have the next man step up and give it the old college try? What's it looking like?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a chance he plays. It's not something where he's going to be 100%. They have to do the MRI, and it's really going to be a tricky needle to thread for Coach Rick Carlisle. Of course, you want to let the guy play if he wants to play, but you're risking a long-term injury. Anytime you're talking about a calf and a calf strain, as most people will remember that Kevin Durant, when he blew out his Achilles tendon, it started as a calf strain, and he tried to play through the calf strain, and that led to the Achilles tendon rupture. And So anytime you get that kind of situation, you've got to be extra careful. And, with Halliburton, as much as, we're in the NBA finals and it's a must win for the Pacers, they don't want to lose this guy on a long-term basis. So, chance that he'll play, but I think there'll be a pretty short leash if it's clear that this thing's still bothering him and that there's a further risk there.
That's going to be a tough game time decision for everybody involved in the organization there. So the only chance that I'm giving Indiana, Sean, and it's because they're going to be at home. If this game was in OKC, I'd write it off and I'd put the champagne on ice because they're home. And again, this team as well as anybody, they're not going to go down without fighting and scrapping and pushing and clawing. I just don't know. Like at this point in the series, I look at Oklahoma City. I look at Indiana. They got some really good horses. Oklahoma City has got thoroughbreds, and I think they might just take over.
Yeah, I think that's right. Look, there is a chance. I mean, I think of in the Eastern Conference semifinals after Jason Tatum got hurt in Game 4, Celtics-Knicks. The Celtics went home, and despite being without their best player, were able to rally and pull off a win against the Knicks. Kind of on emotion and just sort of do it for Jason Tatum kind of thing. And so I could imagine that sort of momentum carrying the Pacers. But you're right. When you get right down to it, you could maybe see the Pacers get off to a good start, but it's just hard to see them without Halliburton on the floor. It's hard to see them being able to maintain for 48 minutes. A situation where they could beat the Thunder in a decisive Game 6 like that. So I'd be really surprised, even if Halliburton plays, not going to be 100%. I'd be really surprised if Indiana is able to pull this thing off. I just think that there's too much on Oklahoma City's side. That even if Indiana gets off to that good start, you're going to see the Thunder eventually just kind of wear them down with their talent level, and by the fourth quarter be able to take over the thing.
Sean Deveney is our guest. Check him out on X at Sean Deveney. Does a great job with Athlon Sports and talking all things NBA. So, man, I'm really pulling for Indiana, Sean. I just don't see it. What kind of a start? Well, no, forget that question. What kind of a third quarter when they come out does Indiana have to have? And I know we don't know what the score is going to be at the break, but usually in the NBA, first 3-4 minutes of the third quarter, you get a little vibe, maybe a little peek into how things might happen. How huge is that little 4 or 5 minute block of time going to be?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, especially in this series where, you kind of get the back and forth and you get some early momentum, but then everything really does seem to shift in that third quarter, when you're coming out of that locker room and it's kind of like, it's almost like a halftime truth serum or something. Whatever right. We saw in the first half, we're going to come out and we're going to see how this game is really going to go now. For Indiana, to me, it's mostly been about turnovers. You've got to limit your turnovers. When they do that, they can win. Oklahoma City is very, very good at not only forcing your turnovers, but converting them into points on the other end. And if Indiana is not winning that battle, no matter who's at point guard, they're not going to win the game. They've got to be able to win that game. And I think in the third quarter especially, we've seen that. I think back to Game 1, which the Pacers won, where they had 19 first half turnovers, 19 in the first half. But then they came out and they took much, much better care of the ball, wound up winning the game with 5 turnovers in the entire second half. So, to me, it's really going to be about taking care of the ball if you're Indiana, especially if Halliburton's not out there.
Sean, we all knew that the ratings were going to be pretty shaky, and they've turned out to be that. Not helping the matter, in my opinion, the last 2 games I've got calculated 130 free throws attempted, 71 in Game 3, I think around 59 in Game 4. These games are taking almost 3 hours to play. I think it's hard for the casual guy, girl, whatever, to huddle around the TV and just watch that thing maybe without a dog in the fight. What is your thoughts on the flows of the game, the officiating, and maybe some ways that they can clean this thing up a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's got to be better. I think there's no question about the fact that that the way things are being called, it's not interesting to viewers. I think you're allowing too much of players to sort of force refs into free throws, and the league has tried to clean this up over the years, and they've had some success. This goes back to of course James Harden is the master. You can go all the way back to Manu Ginobili if you want. This is not new, but it is something where it's exacerbated by the fact that that it's already a finals that hasn't garnered a whole lot of interest outside of the two markets. So yeah, that's certainly an issue. How they do it, I don't know. I mean, I think they should be much quicker with the replays. I don't know why it takes them as long as it does. There should really be almost a clock on the replay to where you get those done really quickly when you need to. But as far as just getting refs to be more disciplined in terms of when players are clearly trying to draw a foul and not giving them those calls, that's got to be something the league gets better at.
Sean Deveney is our guest, Athlon Sports. Check him out on X at Sean Deveney, Deveney, Deveney. Kind enough to give us a few minutes here on the Sam Bourquin Show today, 1310 WDPN. All right, before we get to the Knicks looking for the coach and that wild Desmond Bane trade the other day for the Magic, how about the Cavaliers, Sean? Been hearing some whispers, very low whispers, about that Darius Garland could be on the move. Maybe, I don't know, a little bit more stronger case made there recently than before. And who are the Cavaliers looking at? What can they afford to look at to add to their team here when the offseason starts picking up here at beginning next week?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Desmond Bane trade was interesting because we saw it last year with Mikal Bridges, with the Knicks giving up a healthy 5 first-round picks to bring in Mikal Bridges. Now, if you're the Cavaliers, you have to certainly look at that and say, okay, what does this mean for Darius Garland? Well, Desmond Bane went out and Memphis makes a trade for him and gets 4 and a swap. So you're in a situation where you're the Cavaliers and you've got this big luxury tax bill hanging on over you, and you've got the second apron. Finding a trade for Darius Garland, especially if you could get the kind of package that they just got for Desmond Bane. Now, Orlando was one of the potential teams that could have had interest in Darius Garland, so they're off the board now. But certainly you've got to look at where they are in terms of the apron, and if you could get that kind of return for Darius Garland, I don't think there's any question that you've got to take it. I mean, if you can get 4 picks and create a little cushion for yourself, give yourself the ability to re-sign Ty Jerome, which you really don't have in the current, in the way that that their payroll is currently set up. I think you've got to take that. So that Desmond Bane contract, that Desmond Bane trade, I think, is something that's got to interest the Cavaliers in terms of, can we get that package from someone else?
I'm glad you brought up Ty Jerome's name. Do you think that was the real Ty Jerome we saw this past year, or is he almost destined for some kind of a fall off if he would happen to get some kind of a big deal that he might be looking for? Yeah, I mean, look, when a guy has a season like that, obviously there's some alarm bells that go off. Where has this been? That sort of thing, and now it's a contract year and all that. But I think with Ty Jerome, you can look at the arc of his career, and you can see the injuries and the lack of playing time, the lack of opportunity. I think a lot of that has been a factor in terms of where he was in his career. And really he just needed the right situation. So it's not like he's coming off of a big contract,
and had kind of loafed through the big contract, then decided I got to play this year because we've seen that before in sports, right? Where you're in the last year of a big contract and you decide, well, now I've got to play up to my ability. I don't think that's the case with him. He never had the big contract to begin with. So I think that him, I really do think it's just a matter of opportunity. He might not play as well as he did this year again, but I think he's also not the player who was the journeyman that we saw in his first 5 years in the NBA. I do think that he's a guy who, will be a useful player for whoever. It might be an overpay, but I think he'll still be a useful player going forward.
Sean Deveney is our guest talking NBA here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Kevin Durant, where does he land, Sean?
Minnesota is still, to me, the team that is showing the most interest and makes the most sense. He doesn't want to play in Minnesota, whatever the reason is, whether it's the weather, I don't know. But it's not high on his list at this point. But it is the one that makes the most sense. It's the one that probably gives him the most opportunity to win right away. I think Minnesota is probably where he winds up. I think that, it might take some changing of his mind, but certainly Minnesota is right there. I think Houston is a possibility still. I don't think the Spurs are going to get into that. I think that if they're going to make a move, it's going to be for someone younger, considering the age of the other guys that they've got. Toronto is probably the wild card. I've heard comparisons to the Kawhi Leonard situation. Where even if you're just bringing him in for a year, then go for it. And I think that's entirely possible with Kevin Durant. It's still an open question. I would, if I had to pick, though, I would say that heading to Minnesota is probably the most likely outcome.
I would tend to agree. Now, he's what, Sean, 37 or going to be 37?
Yeah, 37 by the time the season starts.
So he'll be 37. I bet 26.7 or so last year. What are you getting now in as far as KD is concerned in 2025, 2026? What's he bringing?
Well, he's going to bring probably one first-round pick. I think you get that. I think if you're Phoenix, you're really looking at trying to get off the contract. Or get something back for the contract, and maybe have another piece so where you can reduce your, that you can sell off and reduce your luxury tax bill. So, you've got Kevin Durant. You can try to use that contract as a way to acquire two players, trade one of them, and reduce your overall payroll. Rudy Gobert is a guy that could get certainly in return if you package him and Dante DiVincenzo. Now, if you're Phoenix, you could maybe turn around and trade Gobert, or you could keep him. But you have some pieces now that you could move and probably get a pick as well. So that's the kind of package that Phoenix would really be looking at in this situation.
Sean, overall, when the free agency window is fully open, do you expect a wild west kind of scenario, or will it be pretty calm, or maybe somewhere in between?
So I think it'll be a different kind of summer where, you have certainly some activity in free agency, but you're going to have that first wave of free agents that is done probably around July 5th or so. The first 3-4 days of free agency will be, when players sign. But there's not a lot of cap space out there, and there aren't a ton of great free agents out there. So I think you're going to see all that happen pretty quickly, and then it becomes a matter of, okay, let's get going with the trades. And that's where we're going to see a different kind of summer. What we saw at the trade deadline this year, I think, is going to carry over into the off season, where trades are going to rule probably much, much more than what we'll see in free agency. There's not a lot of cap space and not a lot of great players on free agency. This is going to be a very trade heavy summer. Teams like Boston have to make moves. You mentioned Kevin Durant, and we'll see what happens with Giannis. I mean, these are pretty consequential players, pretty consequential situations that are going to have to be worked out, and they won't be worked out until we get into the meat of the offseason in mid-July.
What would an interview be without somebody asking about LeBron James? So here we go. Are we 100% sure that he is dialed in, locked in? He's going to stay with LA and re-sign, or is he going to drag this out and make us wonder again? Or what's the story with LBJ?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him to drag it, make us wonder. I mean, it's LeBron. Maybe he likes a little drama. He likes that kind of attention, and then he likes to pretend that he doesn't like attention. But that's LeBron for you. And I think there's no doubt that he's going to play again, and that it's going to be with the Lakers. Technically a free agent, but he's kind of settled into Los Angeles at this point. He is as much involved in the entertainment business now as he is in the basketball business, and you've got to be in LA for that. So I don't see him making a move away from the Lakers here.
One last thing before we go. New York Knicks. Who's the new head coach going to be?
It's hard to believe that they've gone through all this stuff.
Unbelievable.
The embarrassment of all these teams saying no to them, and all the situations and the slings and arrows of having fired Tom Thibodeau, and they wind up with Mike Brown. Like to go through all that just to hire Mike Brown really sounds like a lot, but it does seem like that's the direction it's heading. They're going to interview Mike Brown and Taylor Jenkins, and maybe one of those two guys. I still think Mike Malone is their best choice, but for some reason they've been resisting. They've been reluctant to include him on their list. But we'll see if that changes. Right now, I'd have to say Mike Brown is the favorite, which is a pretty shocking development considering the way things have unfolded here.
Holy Madison Square Garden. Mike Brown, the coach of the New York Knicks. Oh, my God. Sean, thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy what is left of the NBA Finals, and we'll talk to you down the road. Appreciate your time.
Okay, so thanks for having me.
You got it. Sean Deveney, Athlon Sports, covers all things NBA. We will take a break. Your thoughts, 330-821-1310. That's 330-821-1310. The Sam Bourquin Show returns after this.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below, you take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Thanks to Sean Deveney from Athlon Sports for coming on and talking a little NBA with us here on the Sam Bourquin program on 1310 WDPN. And don't forget, start your day. Rex in the morning at 6 a.m. until 10. John Tesh, 10 until 3. And then we come on in through the big doors here at Studio A. We're with you Monday through Friday, 3 until 6 p.m. right here on AM 1310 WDPN. You can also listen and watch as well on the WDPN Twitter page and the AM 1310 WDPN Facebook page as well. So make sure you are checking that out. Can you believe Mike? No, I refuse. I still think Michael Malone is going to come in the back door and be the coach of the New York Knicks. New York is not going to settle for Mike Brown. Nothing against Mike Brown. Met him several times when he was the coach of the Cavaliers, one of the nicest people in the business. But he is not going to be the coach of the New York Knicks. Taylor Jenkins, maybe. I'm not counting out Michael Malone unless Michael Malone really just wants no part of the New York circus. I don't know. I just have a hard time believing that Mike Brown is going to be the coach of the New York Knicks in the Big Apple under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. I just don't see it. All right, keep your eyes on the weather, boy. The clouds are getting dark again out there. Be careful, as always. And if you see anything that's wild, hit us up at 330-821-1310 so we can keep others in the know as well. We will take a break. The news and the weather coming up here at the top of the hour. We've got On This Day in Sports History at 5:25 today. We've got the poll question of the day. How do you watch live sports? A, cable TV, B, streaming, C, clips on social media, or D, you just check the scores every once in a while. Also, Kent State baseball fans, alum, players, moms, dads, coaches, today's your day. We're going to walk it back. We're going to catch up with Kent State pitching coach Mike Birkbeck, 4:15 today as we revisit that magical Kent State run to the College World Series back in 2012. Can't wait for that. The news is next on 1310 WDPN.
Keeping Alliance entertained and informed for over a half a century. AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Chuck Severson. A mixed verdict in the Karen Reed trial outside Boston, accused of hitting her Boston police officer boyfriend John O'Keefe with her car in a blizzard and leaving him to die. A jury found Reed guilty of drunk driving, but not guilty on all other charges, including a second-degree murder charge. Cheers from supporters of Reed outside of court as the verdict was being read. And here's part of that.
Operating under the influence of liquor by operating a motor vehicle with a blood alcohol level of 0.08 or greater. Correct? Yes. So say you, Mr. Foreman? Yes. So say you all? Yes. 003. What say is the defendant at the bar leaving the scene after accident resulting in death? Defendant not guilty or guilty? So say you, Mr. Foreman? So say you all?
Again, a jury found Karen Reed guilty of drunk driving, but not guilty on other charges, including second-degree murder. This is ABC News.
If you have summer plans, then make Macy's Summer Style Sale your first stop. That's because you'll find amazing deals on exactly what you need to make any summer occasion feel like a getaway. Whether you're headed to the beach or your friend's backyard, we're talking matching sets, airy linen, swimsuits, cover-ups, and so much more for 25 to 50% off. Yeah, up to half off. So no matter where you're going, head to the Summer Style Sale starting tomorrow at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. The sale of Akron-based Summa Health to Health Assurance Transportation Company, or HATCO, has been conditionally approved by Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost. HATCO is a subsidiary of Cambridge, Massachusetts-based General Catalyst. Under state law, Yost's office is responsible for approving or denying the sale because it involves the transfer of nonprofit assets from the health system to a for-profit entity. In a statement, he says he approved the $485 million sale announced in November 2024. The parties must meet 10 conditions. They include the transfer of an additional $15 million in cash and another $15 million in equity to the surviving nonprofit foundation to benefit the people of Summit County and surrounding counties served by the system. The conference room of the City of Alliance Administration Building was near capacity for the inaugural meeting of the Housing Oversight Board. Mayor Andy Grove said comments and recommendations have been received over the past 14 months.
So I want to include when we have our meetings, we set up agendas. I like to get all the different, pull in all these ideas, a lot of things that we've talked about over the last 14 months and put them into use.
City officials reviewed ordinances passed by council to regulate rental properties. They also discussed the inspection process and penalties. Similar legislation was previously opposed by landlords. The board took no action during this afternoon's 20-minute session. Two scams are attempting to separate you from your money. Officials with Stark County Common Pleas Court say someone pretending to be a court employee calls and says immediate payment is necessary for a court case or program, such as probation or pretrial hearing. In the other scam, recipients are told they missed jury duty and must make a payment to avoid arrest. Court officials say they do not ask for payments unless there's been a hearing or people have had the chance to make a written submission for the court's consideration. The Alliance Board of Education received a facilities update Tuesday. Superintendent Rob Gress said work on the culinary arts facility is complete. Progress is being made on new restrooms in the south lobby of the high school, with completion expected by July 1st. Resurfacing of the rear parking lot at the high school and the middle school begins today. The entrance of the parking lot at the intermediate school will also undergo repairs. Preliminary designs have been obtained for the district's new offices at Glamorgan Castle. The Castle Crusaders are expected to give the district $20,000 toward restoration work there. Additional funds will be necessary. A Canton man wanted on multiple warrants is behind bars. 21-year-old Antonio Still allegedly stole a Canton woman's car keys, phone, and handgun during an argument Sunday. He also reportedly shot at the victim and another Canton woman. Canton police say he fled through traffic at Tuscarawas Street West and Bedford Avenue Monday afternoon. An officer sustained a knee injury. Still was arrested and taken to the Stark County Jail on charges of aggravated robbery, felonious assault, having weapons under disability, discharge of a firearm on or near a prohibited premises, obstructing official business, and resisting arrest. He is scheduled for arraignment today in Canton Municipal Court. Numerous area residents have been denied personal damages stemming from the 2023 East Palestine train derailment. They include firefighters and other first responders who received denial letters this week. News of the decision followed the recent dismissal of Kroll administration as settlement administrator. They oversaw the $600 million settlement between Norfolk Southern Railroad and affected residents. Federal Judge Benita Pearson concluded Kroll miscalculated and overpaid some claims. She named Epic Class Action and Claims Solutions as the new administrator. The Morning Journal reports it's not clear what steps those disputing a denial are to take now that Epic has taken over. Those who received denials can appeal the decision or ask for reconsideration by filling out a form on the back of the letter. Months of negotiations have resulted in contracts for workers in the Crestview School District. Contracts include 9% raises over 3 years for certified employees, including teachers, and 10% for classified workers, which include clerical, bus drivers, and custodians. The deals run into the summer of 2028. Both agreements include changes to healthcare coverage. The contracts were recently approved by the Crestview School Board. An 18-year-old male was shot to death in Youngstown overnight. WFMJ-TV reports police were called to the 900 block of Lanterman Avenue around 1 a.m. The victim was pronounced dead at a hospital. Other homes in the neighborhood were struck by gunfire. Youngstown police have begun an investigation. A preliminary hearing is set Monday for a Youngstown man arrested last week. 39-year-old Dwaylen Nadal is charged in Mahoning County with possession of fentanyl and cocaine. He was seen by U.S. Marshals on Canfield Road Friday and arrested after a brief chase. Nadal is wanted in Pennsylvania in connection with an overdose death in Mercer County. He is in the Mahoning County Jail awaiting extradition. Charges include drug delivery resulting in death and aggravated assault. A judicial candidate for Warren Municipal Court has been found in contempt of court and ordered to pay a $500 fine. Irene McCradis is an attorney and Democrat candidate for the bench. She is running against incumbent Republican Natasha Natal. During a recent civil trial in Trumbull County Common Pleas Court, McCradis was warned to stop interrupting during discussions held outside the presence of a jury. According to court records, she interrupted the court 4 times and ignored warnings to stop. It's 80 degrees in Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. The forecast is next, a service of Canterbury Villa of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. A chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high reaching 82. Showers and thunderstorms likely again overnight. Mostly cloudy and a low dipping to 67. Keep the umbrella handy Thursday. Mostly cloudy. A chance of showers and thunderstorms during the morning and afternoon hours. A high of 76. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Getting away.
That's right.
Ari's trying to go the other way. Deep right center field. Lee's on the run. He's on the track at the wall. It is gone. A home run. Arias blasts one to the opposite field. Just to the left of Triples Alley. That's a long way, folks. And he hit it out to put the Guardians on top for the first time tonight. 3-2. Left field. Kwan makes the running catch this time.
Double play. There it is.
Double play. There's your Gold Glove left fielder.
Up at the line. Excellent stick there by Wandell. Here's Los Marinen. Los Marinen. Back out. Jump back and shot. Score! To Bouchard. Reinhardt with the steal. Nice move. Goes to the net. Scores! Gustav Forsling holds. The Panthers begin to celebrate. Panther perfection. The Florida Panthers win their second consecutive Stanley Cup.
And here's the payoff. Swing and a miss, and that will do it. As the Yankees get shut out for the third straight time, only the seventh time in the franchise's history, which started in 1903, that they've been shut out in 3 consecutive games.
How about that, Michael Kay, on the Yankees radio network last night, as they've been shut out for 3 straight games. How about that? Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show, hour 2 here on AM 1310 WDPN, streaming live all over this great world at AM 1310 WDPN.com. You can also watch and listen to the show on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel, and the WDPN Twitter page and a Facebook page as well. As we are live and local and ready to roll on another wet Wednesday here in Northeast Ohio. Holy smokes. I understand a couple of more thunderstorm warnings are starting to pop up. If you are in and around the listening area, please be careful if you're out and about today. I want to thank Sean Deveney from Athlon Sports for talking a little NBA with us in the first hour today. Also, our poll question of the day. Had some good feedback today again. How do you usually watch live sports? How do you usually watch live sports? A, cable TV. B, streaming. C, social media clips. Or D, you just check the scores every once in a while. That's our poll question of the day. Speaking of checking scores, College World Series, wanted to get you up to date there because of the little bit of the goofy schedule with the weather delays and all. Today, 2 o'clock, so they get underway a couple hours ago, Coastal Carolina and Louisville, and then later on tonight it will be LSU and Arkansas. All right, I've been waiting to do this. I've been waiting to talk a little Kent State baseball today. We are in the throes of the 2025 College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska. And don't forget, it wasn't that long ago, 2012. Team from Kent, Ohio made it to Omaha. It was one of the most magical college baseball seasons ever, and we are pleased to bring on the pitching coach then and the pitching coach now. That is Mike Birkbeck of the Golden Flashes of Kent State. Berkey, how are you this afternoon?
Sammy, I'm doing great, man. It's great to hear from you.
Good to hear from you too. I know I wanted to get a hold of you for this particular time in the year, and I was like, well, should we wait till we got the combatants for the College World? I said, screw it. We're gonna talk Kent State anyway. So who cares who's in the championship round? But before we get into all that, kind of get everybody caught up with what you're doing. I know you're still doing your thing as the pitching coach, and how's the world treating you nowadays?
Everything's really good. We had a great year, won the conference again, and our guys they played their hearts out, pretty much like they did in 2012. And then once we got to the tournament, we had one bad day, and as we all know in tournaments, that can be fatal.
Yeah, no kidding. With this College World Series this year, I'm not sure how much you've been watching. I assume you've been watching a little bit, but how about this year, Coach, that Coastal Carolina and Murray State both crashed the party and got to play in Omaha? We all know that it's not set up for teams like that or teams from the MAC or the Mountain West, the Ohio Valley, to get there. But these two teams did, and I think that's a pretty cool story.
Oh, it's no question, and they've just played really good baseball, and that's what's interesting on that journey is that you don't necessarily have to be better than the other team. All you have to beat them is that day.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to find a way to win that day. And man, those two squads that you just mentioned have played just outstanding baseball. And I was just watching the Coastal Carolina game, and they're doing it again. I mean, I think it's 8-0 in the sixth inning.
Oh my gosh! Okay, good.
They're not doing anything special. They're just playing really good baseball.
The Chanticleers, boy, they got it going on, that's for sure. All right, let's circle back now. 2012, the magical run starts, an incredible regular season for Kent State. And when I talk about incredible, I'm talking 24-3 or 47-20, but you're 24-3 in the conference. You pretty much ran away from things, and then you start thinking, okay, maybe this little engine can. And you get to go to the regionals, then you go to the supers, then you make it to Omaha. But wow, Coach, what a wild and bizarre ride it was between the end of the Mid-American Conference Championship and Omaha. Walk us through that wild series at the Steel Yard in Gary, Indiana against Kentucky, and then all the way out to Eugene. You had to stand up till 2:00 in the morning to watch you clinch that. What was that like? That was crazy.
Oh, it was interesting because about the middle of the year that year, we were up and down. We were just up and down, playing good at times, not playing well at times. And then all of a sudden, it was really cool. The guys in the locker room got together and they decided what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, and I look back from April 27th of 2012, we went on a heater and won. Well, I use we very loosely. Those guys won 21
in a row.
Mm-hmm. And it was just very simply one pitch at a time. They played their hearts out one pitch at a time. And, we got through the MAC tournament, which sometimes is about as challenging as you can imagine. Winning your own conference tournament is not an easy thing. And then I do remember we'd been to several regionals in the previous years, and they sent us all over Hades. I mean, we were in LA, we were in Phoenix, we were all over the place. And when they revealed the bracket, we were east of the Mississippi, and I think everybody just took a deep breath. We went to Gary, Indiana. The regional that year was hosted by Purdue. They were the 1 seed, and their field was in the process of being built. They had a brand new field going in, and it was not ready yet. So we went to Gary, Indiana, and started that legendary run.
Amazing. And the run that we're talking about, it all began against Western Michigan on April the 27th. That was a 16-5 win. You wouldn't lose again until the second game of the Super Regional out in Eugene, Oregon. I don't care what level of ball, Coach, you rip off 21 in a row, that's some pretty serious stuff right there.
Yeah, and like I had mentioned, Sammy, they just took a one pitch at a time approach, be it on defense or be it on offense, and they owned it, and they just put it all together, man, and they were fun to watch. As a coach, that's what you dream about, is that you basically, as a coach, you get out of the way. You just push a couple buttons now and again when it's obvious, but the fellas, they just rolled.
They most certainly did, and I look back at that, and sometimes I'll go down that rabbit hole on YouTube, and I'll watch some of the bits and pieces of the games from 12 and the game of the 21 inning. Are you kidding me with that 21 inning game again? And look, 2012, I didn't have ESPN Plus, Coach. I was scrambling to try to find out what was going on. What was that like to finally get out of there with that win?
You know, it was so exciting. It was so frustrating. It was so heartbreaking at times. It was so exhilarating. The emotions were through the roof, and I'm sure a lot of our fans remember feeling a lot of those. And it was just a bunch of heroic performances by guys that had been solid all year, and then we asked them to do a little bit more, and they did. I mean, literally in that game, we had basically a three-headed monster at the end of our games most of the year of the regular season. Brian Clark, Josh Pierce, Michael Clark were one-inning guys or specialists at the end of the game, and they each went, I believe, 5 innings at a time in that game. And it was they kept getting guys out, and Coach Strickland would look at me when they come off the mound, and I'm like, they're fine.
Set them out. Set them out, Coach.
They're good. And what was so dynamic about that game is that they had the bases loaded 2 times with 1 out. And I swear to you, they hit comebackers to the pitcher, and we went 1, 2, 3 to get out of innings twice in tie games.
Unbelievable.
You know something or somebody is on your side when
No.
you're able to do that.
No doubt about it. Pitching coach of the Kent State Golden Flashes, Mike Birkbeck, is our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN, streaming all over the world, 1310WDPN.com, and on your favorite YouTube channel with Q92 Radio and Facebook as well. So you get out of Gary, Indiana, and hopefully you had enough clothes in the suitcase, because now you're really getting on the big bird. You're going all the way out to Phil Knight country. You're going out to Eugene, Oregon, to take on the Ducks, who are almost unbeatable in their backyard. Yep. And I'll tell you what, you talk about twists and turns and Pepto-Bismol nights on TV. That had everything, didn't it?
It did. It really did. And what was so much fun about that is we felt really good about that matchup, because they were a West Coast team, and they played West Coast type of baseball, which means that they small ball a lot. So they get runners on, they're going to bunt them over. So we were, you're figuring you're going to get probably 3 or 4 outs just because of the nature of their game. And you were always going to be in those games. And if you look at those scores, I think every game was a 1-run game. It was like 7-6, 3-2, 3-2, I think. And our guys just executed. We didn't make any mistakes. They just executed, and we just played Kent State baseball. We pitched it really well, and we got a couple big hits. And I think in game 1, I think Oregon's right fielder made a mistake.
Yep.
Misplayed a ball, and that was all we needed. It opened up the floodgates.
Now, was it? Do you recall how you felt? What was going through your mind during the dog pile on the mound once you guys knew you were on your way?
I couldn't believe it. It was surreal. It was surreal. And what was so interesting about that is in game 3, we were in the first base dugout. And if you remember the way that game ended, we had a runner on second, and Jimmy Ryder, just a legendary player for us, was up. And he hit that fly ball to left field. And Coach Strickland and I we were literally standing where you could look right down the line. And we looked at the left fielder, and he lost the ball in the sun. And we looked at each other while the ball was at the apex, and we're like, we're going to win. And their shortstop made a valiant effort, and he did not come up with it. And, the rest is history.
Yeah, Jimmy hit a little slicer, and it just kept going, and you could tell like most of the field was in shit, but then all of us, the sun, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to drop in, and it did, and boom, 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 you're coming around, and there was the big dog pile. Then you knew you're on your way to Omaha. So then you pack up the suitcase again. Now we're going to before we get to Omaha, Coach Berkey, what was the travel like as far as, I don't know if you guys had a traveling secretary or if you guys handled all that stuff, but just to make sure everything was good, everybody was accounted for, you had your suitcases, you had your meal money, you had all that. Who handled all that? Because that was wild.
Well, we had two of our administrators handled, our senior woman advisor, academic advisor, Kathy O'Donnell, and then Greg Glaus, who's now our associate athletic director.
Okay.
They handled all of that stuff. And the NCAA does a great job with the logistics and with the flights and with the buses and with the hotels. So we just basically followed an itinerary and marching orders and went about our business.
I'm glad that worked out well, because that had me freaking out, Coach. That's a lot of time away from home, and you're out there trying to accomplish and get a national championship. So now we get to Omaha, and what was the mood? What was the vibe like with the kids? And I had Lake Center Christian's baseball coach on yesterday, and we were talking about the great year that they had, and then all of a sudden you go playing in front of mom, dad, and grandpa to Munson Stadium and now Canal Park. I said, was there a little Hoosiers moment there where you had to channel Gene Hackman a little bit and say, hey, guys, bases are still 90 feet. It's still 60 foot, 6 inches from the mound to home plate. It's just a little bigger moment. What was that like for everybody?
It was very much like you just presented it. We, they give us an hour of practice time out at the stadium. So during that time, we gave the guys some opportunities to take some pictures and just get used to the environment. But you have to remember the year before in 2011, which was, that team was off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
It was truly a team we thought was Omaha ready. We had been to the University of Texas for that regional, and, that place was a hornet's nest. And then going in, holy cow. I mean, it was an unbelievable experience. So this group of guys was used to that. They'd been to numerous regionals back to back to back, and then having gone to the University of Texas, they were prepared for that environment. And once we got to game day, it was fascinating because if you remember, we opened up with Arkansas.
Yep.
And I remember being on the field when I guess they opened the gates, and it was just a sea of red coming in through the tunnels. And
Well, Pig Suey was everywhere.
they were out in force. And the first part of that game, we played a little bit tense, a little bit nervous, fell behind early, but after that, the guys settled in really well. And then the next two games were fistfights.
Yeah, I mean, you beat Florida 5-4. You knock them out. Bye-bye. And then you fall to South Carolina, who's got a very rich tradition in baseball. That was only a 3-run game as well. And I guess when it finally came to an end, it probably took a couple of days or maybe some weeks to finally let everything sink in. And as you look back now, even almost, we're getting close to, 14, 15 years later. I mean, when you think about what happened, Coach, and the memories and the team bonding and the community spirit, I mean, what kind of feels do you get when you go back and take a look back?
Well, you're still so very proud of the efforts the guys put in and how they responded in different environments and under different circumstances, and how they grew through that, because they were just outstanding. It was just a wonderful group of guys. To be perfectly frank, it might not have been the most talented team we've ever had, but they were all outstanding, skilled baseball players. And it just goes to show, and you're seeing it now with some of these games, there's still a lot of value in being a skilled baseball player. Yes, talent is vital, but you still have to have baseball skills.
No doubt about it. Coach Mike Birkbeck is our guest, Kent State pitching coach. We're kind of going down memory lane of the 2012 Kent State run to the College World Series in Omaha. And I was just kind of looking down the roster. We touched on Jimmy Ryder, local guys, TJ Sutton, Tommy Monnet. Of course, there's a young man by the name of John Birkbeck and John Cook, and of course Tyler Scalina. We could go on and on. What a group of guys, huh?
Oh, unbelievable. And I think at one point, 80% of that team was within 3 hours of our campus.
Oh, that's even better.
Yep, it was, and I think 100% it was within 4 hours because we had some really good players from Central PA. But yeah, the bulk of that team were local guys with local ties. Unbelievable parental support, and then obviously the community just rallied around us at every turn. And it was just a special run by a special group of guys that had one thing on their mind, and it was the fact that really the 2011 team was the, whatever you want to call it, and they just finished off what we weren't quite able to do in 2011.
Well, I look at it as just an incredible ride, memories they can never take away from you, and it took Florida, Arkansas, and South Carolina. It took all three of them in some way, shape, or form, even though you knocked the Gators out. It took the big bad boys a weekend to get you out of there, and I think that's awesome, and forever we'll remember another year down the road, 5, 10, 15 years, however, we're ever blessed to be on this earth. Always look back at 2012, and it'll bring a big flash smile to our face. Coach, I really appreciate you coming on today. Congratulations again, and keep doing your thing at Kent State. And what do you say? Let's get back there again some year.
We're working really hard right now to assemble a roster that's going to do that, and we're really confident moving forward. Trust me, and I really appreciate all you do, Sammy, for high school sports around Northeast Ohio, man.
You got it, Berkey. All the best. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
There he goes, Mike Birkbeck, outstanding pitching coach of the Golden Flashes of Kent State. Boy, 2012 was fun, and I appreciate Coach coming on. All right, we've got the news and weather coming up at the bottom of the hour. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. A mixed verdict in the Karen Reed trial outside Boston. A jury today found Reed guilty of drunk driving in the death of her Boston officer police boyfriend, but not guilty on all other charges, including a second-degree murder charge. Reed was accused of striking John O'Keefe with her SUV during a 2022 blizzard and leaving him to die in the snow. The jury handed down its decision today after deliberating for at least 22 hours since June 13th. The verdict comes nearly a year after a separate jury deadlocked over whether Reed killed O'Keefe. The Federal Reserve is deciding to keep interest rates where they are. During their meeting today, Fed also said that even though they expect inflation to rise, there could be 2 interest rate cuts later this year. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell admits economic uncertainty due to tariff policy looms, but says the economic outlook is solid for now.
Surveys of households and businesses, however, report a decline in sentiment over recent months and elevated uncertainty about the economic outlook, largely reflecting trade policy concerns.
There's still no indication as to whether the U.S. would wade into the conflict between Israel and Iran. Talks between the Iranians and the Americans broke down, and President Trump has expressed his displeasure with the conflict. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has more.
President Trump Wednesday didn't rule out a U.S. military strike against Iran's nuclear facilities, telling reporters he may do it, he may not do it, but nobody knows what he'll do. He said his message to the supreme leader of Iran is good luck. President Trump said the Iranians reached out to hold talks, even offering to come to the White House.
I said it's very late. I said it's very late to be talking.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
An American Civil Liberties Union lawyer says the Supreme Court decision upholding Tennessee's ban on care for transgender children is a devastating loss for transgender people and everyone who cares about the Constitution. The justices' 6-3 decision today effectively protects from legal challenges many efforts by President Trump's administration and state governments to roll back protections for transgender individuals. Another 26 states have laws similar to Tennessee's. Chief Justice John Roberts writes for a conservative majority, the law does not violate the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. Justice Sonia Sotomayor writes in a dissent, the majority, in her words, abandons transgender children to political whims. It's 79 degrees in Alliance at 4:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For this afternoon, A chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise mostly cloudy skies and a high of 82. Mostly cloudy skies overnight, a lingering chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low around 67. Thursday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms during the morning hours. Then again for the afternoon, mostly cloudy and a high of 76. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suite? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
Looking for something fun to do this summer? Come out to Copeland Oaks for our annual Classic Cruise-In on Sunday, July 27th. Gates open at 10 a.m. with registration until 1. Enjoy free food, music, and lots of fun. Join us Sunday afternoon, July 27th for the Cruise-In on the Copeland Oaks Retirement Campus, just off Route 62 near Sebring. $5 registration for classic vehicles. All proceeds benefiting a local charity. Dash plaques and trophies will be awarded for classic cars. Copeland Oaks, family fun.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
I want to thank Kent State baseball coach Mike Birkbeck for joining us here on the program to kind of go down memory lane. 2012 of that magical run by the Kent State Golden Flashes baseball team. Man, that was a heck of a year. That was a heck of a year. You win the MAC, you go to Gary, Indiana. You've got a 21-inning game against Kentucky you got to plow through. You eventually get out of the regionals. Now you got to go to Eugene, Oregon to play the Ducks. And nobody thought Kent State was going to go up to Oregon and beat them, except Kent. And they did. And then they go to Omaha, Nebraska. And, you open up against Arkansas. So now you're going out of the loser's bracket, which is really tough to do. But then they beat Florida. And we're like, okay. And then here comes South Carolina. And they fell 4-1 there. But what an incredible season that was for Kent State. And remember what we just went through here in Alliance not that long ago with the University of Mount Union. Fantastic regular season. They didn't win the OAC conference tournament, but they got an at-large bid. They got to host the regionals. Now, they didn't make it out, but think about all the great baseball and the fun we had here. Just imagine now, 1 year, maybe next year, maybe the year after, Coach Hesse and the crew, they win the OAC. They win the tournament. They get to host a regional. They win that. They get to go to a super regional. They win that. And then they get to go to the College World Series. I mean, imagine how much fun that would be. It's so hard. It's so hard to do. But Kent State did it at the D1 level back in 2012. And again, thanks to Berkey for coming on and taking a little stroll down memory lane with us today here on the Sam Bourquin Show. That was fun. I was mentioning some of the names, Tommy Monnett, TJ Sutton, I mentioned John Birkbeck, Nick Hamilton. Tom Hamilton's son was on that team. He played infield for the Golden Flashes. That was a great group. And just the support. I mean, the people, you talk about the bandwagon. The bandwagon was rolling. Gary, Indiana, Eugene, Oregon, and Omaha, Nebraska. That was fun. That was really, really cool. All right, phone lines are open, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Our poll question of the day: How do you watch live sports? How do you do it now? A, cable TV. B, streaming. C, do you watch clips on social media? Or D, you just check the scores every once in a while. And again, great feedback from all of you out there on all of our social media platforms, on Twitter, on Facebook, on the Q92 radio YouTube channel, and on the Facebook as well. I'll read some of these responses here in just a second. I can figure out what app I need to get on my phone. Holy macaroni salad. But a lot of you, given the 4 choices, a lot of you picked multiple choices. Like there's a few that, okay, it's just cable, or it's just streaming, or only checking the scores. But there's a lot of you that do both. You'll watch the game on cable. You'll catch games on stream. You'll check your phone for other scores if you're doing different stuff, different things. Eve says, hey, I do cable, I do stream, and I do checking scores depending on where I'm at. Pam says, yeah, cable TV and checking scores. Nick says streaming, social media clips, and checking scores. Bill says, I'm straight satellite TV, got everything I need there. Carl Stacy says, I stream and I check the scores. I think we all do that, don't we? I think we do it. We got our TV on in the room, or computer, or whatever. You're checking the crawl at the bottom of the screen, right, for all the scores. And then if you get really impatient, like I do, I flip my phone on again. And I look and I check the scores on whatever app I've got going on. It's crazy. It's crazy how we consume live sports nowadays. Phones are open, 330-821-1310. Let's go to the phones. You're on the Sam Bourquin Show on this Wednesday afternoon. Good afternoon. Who's this?
Hey, Sam. How are you doing?
I'm good. Sounds like Henry.
Hey, yes, it is.
What's up, Henry?
Hey, I just sent you a thing about the Rays.
Oh, okay. I did. Was it an email or an instant message?
On Messenger.
Messenger. All right. Let me see if I can. I get 3 phones going here. Here. Okay. Could the Rays be finally on the? Oh. So you say they may be moving to Orlando or Charlotte?
Yes, because this investor has properties in both cities, and he's got groups in both cities.
Interesting. Well, it's going to be how long until they completely? Well, so what's the deal with the stadium down there, Henry? Are they gonna go ahead and fix it? Or are they, because they're not? Are they going to build a new state, or what's going on down there?
The only thing that's in the hopper right now is the city is going to fix it.
Okay,
that's it.
There
is nothing going forward from this point. The only thing that is in negotiation is Charlotte and Orlando right now. So wherever they end up, yeah. But if Tampa loses this one, they're never getting another major league franchise.
No, it's a shame because they've got a nice, and I say little core fan base. They've got some really hardcore, but they don't have that many. And
no,
the place is a dump. It's always been a dump. You just don't, and the playoffs, the people come out of the woodwork, and even sometimes then they don't sell the games out. But during the year, you can walk in there and get a great ticket for a cheap price. But but it just getting in and out of the game is awful because of the highway system out there. I-4 is a disaster. It's a disaster.
It is. And when I lived down there, you would not believe the family of 15 of us went into the game, okay, for less than $75.
Wow. That's less than $5 a ticket to get in.
Yeah.
They're begging people to come in there, but again, they just don't draw. Look, the franchise itself, very, very astute, great decision makers. Their talent level has been rich for years at the A, AA, and AAA level. They run it the right way. There's just the support's not there. The ballpark stinks. And I would be surprised, Henry. I would almost guarantee by 25? I would say by 2030, they are playing in a brand new park in Charlotte, North Carolina, or maybe Orlando, Florida. I'd almost guarantee it.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of stadiums, okay, because of what Governor DeWine and his group has done with this tax thing and the unclaimed funds deal, that may be the only thing that saves the Bengals from leaving.
Now the state went ahead and they said good to go on the $600 million, right, for the Haslam Group to help build the dome in Brook Park. But this is separate from what the folks in Cincinnati and the Bengals are looking for, right?
Yes. But the tax on the betting, so like in other words, you go and bet on something, you win it, you're taxed on that winnings, and that winning will go to the Browns and the Bengals.
What is Cincinnati look? They want a brand new place, right?
Yes, they are looking at a piece of property that's out by Kings Island.
Okay. And so where they're at now, how far is that away from? Because that's in Mason, right?
Yes.
Kings Island's in Mason, Ohio. So that's a little bit of it's not exactly Cincinnati proper, so it would be a little bit of a ways away. But so they're not even interested in refurbishing or renovating. They want a brand spanking new building. That's what I'm assuming. Okay.
Yes, but theirs is going to be outdoors because that's
good. Because I'm sick of these owners just going straight to the dome card every time we're trying to build a new place to watch a sporting event. They're talking about building a dome in Kansas City now, Henry. Come on.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
They're talking about building it 30 miles away from where they're at right now.
They got so much money they don't know what to do with it. They really don't know what to do with it. Well, Henry, I appreciate you checking in, man. Appreciate the info.
I do have something for you.
Oh, go ahead.
It's going to be going to be of interest to you.
Okay.
Regarding your poll question.
Oh, okay. Uh-oh. I'm afraid of what's coming now. Go ahead.
I do a lot of streaming now. Okay.
Okay.
I have probably at my disposal right now with international TV, close to 2,000 stations.
Holy smokes. Okay.
So with this, I have been reading that in the next 7 years, you'll no longer be able to have cable TV. It's all going to be streamed.
So there's going to be no cable. There's going to be no like direct TV. None of that. It's all gone.
Well, direct TV will be there, but it'll be on the platform of streaming.
It'll just be streaming.
Everybody is going to the streaming.
Not me.
Because it's more cost effective and it's less expensive.
But at the end of the day, Henry, let's just say at the end of the month to make it easier, with all the streaming and the apps and the this and the that, doesn't it all come out in the wash? It's about the same anyway, as far as price.
By the time you get your internet service, maybe it's a hair cheaper.
Well, we're still holding on to. We've been a DirecTV family for quite a while now. We still have the stupid house phone, which that's another story. And we do have obviously we do have the internet, and we probably should jump the speeds up on that a little bit. But I mean, we have numerous smart TVs in the house. And each one of them has different apps on there. And I know my son uses them a little bit. My wife uses them a little bit. I got to be honest with you, and maybe I'm a little different TV watcher, and I'm a little bit older. All right, I'm double nickels now, so maybe I consume things a little bit differently. But for me, I still want to come home. I want to hit the power button, and I want that big beautiful picture to be on that big beautiful TV. And I don't want to screw around with apps and downloading and buffering and all that nonsense. And I know I'm probably behind the 8 ball, and that's fine. But that's the pulpit I'm going to stand on.
But yeah, that's kind of where it's headed. So we got about a 7-year window, and cable's going to disappear.
Interesting. So you're saying by 2032, I'll have no more cable.
Yeah, because all these cable companies, like Spectrum and stuff, they're starting to weed out their cable.
Yeah, well, I can see that with Spectrum for sure. That they've taken a hit. Henry, I got to go, but I appreciate the information and call back anytime.
Hey, take care, buddy.
There goes Henry. He always has a couple of good nuggets for us here on the show. All right, Rainsburg, you hear that? 2032, no more cable.
I'd say more like
you probably don't care though.
30, maybe 2028. I don't know. 32 seems like a generous estimate. See, I think
I'm trying to hold on as long as I can.
I think what cable companies are going to start doing is instead of offering cable boxes, they're going to be like, hey, just download our app and it'll work just like your cable box. You don't have to hook up a cable box. And that'll be the beginning of it. I guarantee it.
Huh.
I'd put money on that.
Well,
because Spectrum already has an app.
Yeah, and I think DirecTV does too. It's
I bet they do.
Stream.
Yep. Eventually, they're just not going to sell cable boxes and be like, no, you got to get the app.
Got to get the app.
Yep.
Life is one big fat app.
Yes, it is now.
That's all it is.
That's the world we live in.
Oh, my God. You kidding me? Come on, Birkbeck, get with the times. I'm there. I'm gonna push and kick and scream until you get me to the finish line. But I'll eventually get there. All right, let's take a break. 10 minutes until the top of the hour. 330-821-1310 is the telephone number. You can always text the program at 330-924-7088. We're about 10 minutes away from the latest news and weather, but come on back. We got some more good stuff for you here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Stay with us.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? Safe Step walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. Safe Step walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. Safe Step walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly.
Get on board. Get on board. Imagine home. The smell of coffee, the sound of a lawnmower, the sun's warmth on your face. Free to be yourself. Surrounded by love that helps you grow. This is a place to call home. That's an American dream we all deserve. But in 50% of U.S. states, you could legally be denied housing if you are LGBTQ+. Get the facts and hear real stories at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back to the program. Almost 4:54 here on 1310 WDPN. Don't forget, you can always share and like and follow us on all of our social media platforms. So check us out, WDPN, Facebook, on Twitter, also Q92 Radio Sports, Q92 Facebook, and the YouTube channel. Lots of great content, videos, live shows, photos, poll questions, everything that you can only imagine. Check us out. All of the social media platforms today, and drop us a little comment while you are there. All right, I think now is a good time to catch up with the voter, Stephen Vogt, skipper of the Cleveland Guardians. They played way past midnight last night, but they hung on to beat the San Francisco Giants 3-2 at Oracle Park out in San Francisco. Gabby Arias had a big game. Quan had a big game, and Emmanuel Clase sewed things up in the bottom of the ninth inning. It's a win, and we'll take it. Let's check in with the skipper, Stephen Vogt.
I usually start these things by asking you about your starting pitcher, but can I ask you about your starting left fielder and just how cool it is to have a guy like that be able to impact the game the way he did with his glove?
Yeah, I mean, Kwani's obviously one of our best hitters, but what he did tonight defensively, I mean, he stopped the game. He made some incredible plays, and just the threat of his arm kept them from, sending Lee there in the ninth. So what Kwani brings to the table is it's consistency every single day, defense and offense.
What does it say to you that when I asked him about his plays, the first thing he brought up was JT?
Yeah, because that's who our players are. Our players, they care about each other. They know the coaches work extremely hard, but it's about the players. It's about Kwani going out and doing it, but that's really cool. I mean, JT McGuire has done such a phenomenal job with our outfielders, base runners, and, that's great that Kwani gave him the kudos.
What did you think of Slade?
I thought Slade was pretty good. A little bit of command issues early, kind of yanking the ball going across his body, but he didn't have his best stuff tonight, but he battled, and really the slider was pretty good tonight. Curveball was hit or miss, and the fastball velo was fluctuating quite a bit, and that's just a.
If your priorities are family, work, and school, in that order, University of Phoenix helps you.
A product of when your delivery's a little bit off, but for him to give us 5 there and keep us in the game, I thought did your job and give it to the bullpen.
For fans that sit at home maybe and look at pitch counts, I think he stayed under 85 last 2. Is that more of what you're reading, what you're seeing more than anything else?
Yeah, again, Slade has the ability to throw more pitches. When it was tied, we were third time through the order, we were getting to the middle, and I thought that was a perfect spot for Festa to come in and bridge it, and the bullpen was phenomenal. But Slade threw well. He's helping us. He's helping us win games, and he's just going to keep getting beter.
What did you see from those guys, Gaddis and Clase late? Like, they get a couple of guys on, but they locked it in.
Yeah, they're not going to be perfect. There's not very many times they're going to go out and get 3 up, 3 down, and it's not easy to go 1+ the way Cade and Gaddy both did tonight. They go sit. It's cold here, but they kept themselves ready, and these guys throw a lot, and they throw high pressure. Every time they pitch, it's high pressure. It's so for them to get it done, but Clase just continues to just be incredible. He's going to give up a few hits here and there, but for him to bear down and get the save right there was huge.
Gabby's going opposite field like that. I mean, that's the deepest part of this park, isn't it? Like, what does that say about it?
Gabby's opposite field power is there may not be anybody with better opposite field power, and it's just nice to see him get some results. He's been working and playing an incredible shortstop, and so for him to get a couple of results, I had to feel good to get that one and crush the next one. Just hit it into the San Francisco night.
I was going to say, just all the hard work he's putting in. Do you think getting the bats daily, what do you think is really helping him? Because he had some bad swings prior to those two.
Gabby's just such a different player this year. He's a different person. He's a dad now. He's a lot of things have changed in a good way for Gabby, and like I said, the Gold Glove caliber defense he's been playing for us, no matter what position in the infield, and he's got the ability to drive the ball to the yard. So he's not getting too high, he's not getting too low. We're seeing the best version of Gabby as far as the person, and I couldn't be more proud of him.
Last thing, I know I asked you about Juan. You grew up here coming to this park. He told me where he sat. Like, just how cool is that to have,
Yeah, I mean, we all, no matter who you are, we work in this game because we love baseball. And we were all little kids at one point that watched people do it on TV and dreamed of, like every kid dreams of playing in the big leagues. And when you get to go to the field where you rooted for your team, there's something special about it. And you get to be a 3-year-old kid and love baseball again. And so it's the same thing for me every time I come back here.
There he is, the voter, Stephen Vogt, talking after the ball game last night. Oh, boy. Did we ever get a breaking news stinger yet?
You never did give me.
I never did get that. I've got so much stuff. Well, I'll tell you what.
Go ahead.
I was gonna wait until after 5:00, but I'm gonna go with it now. This per Fox 8 News. For the love of crying out loud! This franchise, Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, was pulled over early Tuesday morning for driving over 100 miles per hour by the Strongsville Police Department. Details sketchy, but they're starting to come in. This just broke a little bit ago. Per Fox 8, Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders pulled over early yesterday morning for allegedly driving over 100 miles per hour. You just can't handle prosperity. There's always something with that organization. Always. And just when you thought it was going to be a nice training camp, OTAs, mini camp, everybody goes their own separate way. And now our 5th-round draft pick, with all the hype, gets pulled over by the Strongsville police for going over 100 miles an hour. Let's take a break. The news and weather's coming up next. One more big hour to go here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310, WDPN Alliance.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. A jury finds Karen Reed guilty of drunk driving, but not guilty on all other charges, including second-degree murder in the death of her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe. Outside the courthouse in Dedham, Massachusetts, as the verdict was read, on the prosecution's and defense's recommendations, the judge says he'll sentence Reed to 1-year probation. American taxpayers will not pay for the ongoing appeal of President Trump's defamation case as a federal appeals court this afternoon. It denied his request to have Justice Department lawyers argue the case. A New York jury last year ordered Trump to pay the columnist E. Jean Carroll $83 million in damages for denying her accusation that he sexually assaulted her. The FDA has approved a powerful new shot that can offer near-perfect protection against HIV infection. New injection is given only twice a year. Federal Reserve decided not to reduce an interest rate. This is ABC News.
Offered on.
If you have summer plans, then make Macy's Summer Style Sale your first stop. That's because you'll find amazing deals on exactly what you need to make any summer occasion feel like a getaway. Whether you're headed to the beach or your friend's backyard, we're talking matching sets, airy linen, swimsuits, cover-ups, and so much more for 25 to 50% off. Yeah, up to half off. So no matter where you're going, head to the Summer Style Sale starting tomorrow at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. This news a service of Bonfort Glass. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost has conditionally approved the sale of Akron-based Summa Health to Health Assurance Transformation Company, or HATCO. The $485 million deal was announced in November 2024. Yost says in a statement, the parties must meet 10 conditions, including the transfer of an additional $15 million in cash. An additional $15 million in equity must be submitted to the surviving nonprofit foundation to benefit the people of Summit County and surrounding counties served by the system. HATCO is a subsidiary of Cambridge, Massachusetts-based General Catalyst. Under state law, Yost's office is responsible for approving or denying the sale because it involves the transfer of nonprofit assets from the health system to a for-profit entity. The Housing Oversight Board for the City of Alliance has met for the first time. Members took no action during this afternoon's 20-minute session. Mayor Andy Grove and other city officials reviewed legislation passed by council to regulate rental properties, the inspection process, and penalties.
Going forward, our mission is to team with the Planning and Development Department to protect tenants' rights, along with protecting landlords' investments rights as well. Made in improving distressed housing stock, elimination of negative effects of nuisance properties, blight, and illegal dumping.
The administration building's conference room was near capacity. Prior to the legislation's approval, landlords opposed a similar proposal they viewed as unconstitutional. Officials with Stark County Common Pleas Court are alerting area residents to a pair of scams. People claiming to be court personnel call and say recipients have missed jury duty and must make a payment to avoid arrest. The other scam involves someone saying immediate payment is necessary for a court case or program, such as probation or pretrial hearing. Court officials say they do not ask for payments unless there has been a hearing or people have had the chance to make a written submission for the court's consideration. There are changes for some administrative positions in the Alliance School District. The Board of Education accepted the resignation of Assistant High School Principal Jennifer Herdman Tuesday. She also was hired as Middle School Principal effective July 1st. Assistant Middle School Principal Kyle Cheney and Assistant Intermediate School Principal Stephanie Guerin resigned for employment outside of the district as of June 30th. The board approved 2-year contracts for Assistant Middle School Principals Joseph Majorana and Jason Wade effective July 1st. Majorana was an intervention specialist at the middle school. Wade was a teacher at Perry High School. Louisville City Council held a 2.5-hour planning session this morning. WDPN's David Schur reports.
The concerns of council include an increase in our population's impact on the city services, including water, sewer, and safety forces, along with the potential for decreased revenue if state legislation and petitions to end property tax become reality. Development of the green space where Louisville Middle School once was seated, along with other parks improvements, await the actions of the Parks Commission, and improvements in downtown buildings need increased dialogue with their owners.
A suspect in a weekend robbery and shooting in Canton is in custody. 21-year-old Antonio Still of Canton was arrested Monday afternoon. He had allegedly fled through traffic at Tuscarawas Street West and Bedford Avenue, causing an officer to suffer a knee injury. Still was wanted on several warrants. He's accused of stealing a Canton woman's car keys, phone, and handgun during an argument Sunday, and reportedly shot at the victim and another Canton woman. He's charged with aggravated robbery, felonious assault, having weapons under disability, discharge of a firearm on or near a prohibited premises, obstructing official business, and resisting arrest. Still is scheduled for arraignment today in Canton Municipal Court. Firefighters and other first responders are among those denied personal injury damages in connection with the 2023 East Palestine train derailment. The Morning Journal reports letters informing area residents of the decision were received this week. It came days after federal judge Benita Pearson dismissed Kroll administration from determining and distributing awards from the $600 million settlement between Norfolk Southern Railroad and area residents. She said Kroll miscalculated and overpaid some claims. Epic Class Action and Claims Solutions was named as the new settlement administrator. Residents who received denials can appeal the decision or ask for reconsideration by filling out a form on the back of the letter. It's not clear what steps those disputing the denial are to take now that Epic has taken over. A Washingtonville man found not guilty by reason of insanity last year for felonious assault and other charges remains on conditional release in the community. 33-year-old David Kirby appeared recently in Columbiana County Common Pleas Court. Judge Megan Bickerton said he's still a mentally ill person. Kirby was accused of assaulting a sheriff's deputy while trespassing on a Salem Township property in March 2024. He also allegedly struck a corrections officer at the county jail following his arrest. Kirby will undergo another review in a year. Youngstown police are investigating a homicide that occurred early today. Officers were called to the 900 block of Lanterman Avenue around 1 a.m. An 18-year-old male found at the scene was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. His name has not been released. According to WFMJ-TV, police say other homes in the neighborhood were struck by gunfire. A man wanted in Pennsylvania was arrested in Youngstown Friday. 39-year-old Dwaylen Nadal is in the Mahoning County Jail awaiting extradition. He is charged in Mahoning County with possession of fentanyl and cocaine. Nadal is charged with drug delivery resulting in death, aggravated assault, and other counts in connection with an overdose death in Mercer County, Pennsylvania. He was spotted by U.S. Marshals on Canfield Road and arrested after a brief chase. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for Monday. A man is charged with aggravated murder in the death of a Warren man. The Cuyahoga County grand jury also indicted 28-year-old Nathaniel Crockett of Cleveland on charges including felonious assault, kidnapping, gross abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and having weapons under disability. He was previously indicted on an arson charge after a car driven by Javar King was found on fire in Cleveland in early February. King's family had reported him missing. He was found shot to death at a vacant house in Cleveland in March. King's death was ruled a homicide. Crockett will be arraigned at a later date. A Warren Municipal Court judicial candidate has been found in contempt of court. Attorney and Democrat candidate for Judge Irene McCreadis was warned to stop interrupting the court during discussions held outside the presence of a jury. Court records state she interrupted the court 4 times and ignored warnings to stop. The incident took place during a recent civil trial in Trumbull County Common Pleas Court. McCreadis was found in contempt and fined $500. She is running against incumbent Republican Natasha Natal. A bipartisan group of 36 attorneys general, co-led by Ohio's Dave Yost, is challenging a federal court ruling they say risks creating a loophole for unregulated gambling. Yost and his counterparts urge the Third Circuit Court to side with New Jersey in a lawsuit brought by Kalshi, an online platform that lets users bet on real-world events, including sports. The company claims its use of so-called events contracts for gambling means states have no power to regulate the platform. According to Kalshi, Congress included a provision in the Commodity Exchange Act that preempts state regulation of betting when it is offered through such contracts. The attorneys general argue that nothing in federal law suggests Congress aimed to strip states of their power to regulate sports betting. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 42,171, down 44 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 25 points higher at 19,546, and the S&P 500 closed at 5,980, down 2 points. We have the following funeral announcement. Arrangements are pending for 76-year-old Larry O. Higgins, arrangements by Shearer Sterling Skivalaki. It's 77 degrees in Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News, a service of Bonford Glass. I'm Jeff Mears.
When man's best friend chases the family cat through the window screen, you need a rapid repair from Bonford Glass. In warmer weather, accidents can happen. When a hole in your window or door screen is keeping you from enjoying the fresh air, take that torn screen to Bonford's for a speedy, expert repair. You think of Bonford's for glass repair, but don't forget, they can take care of just about any problem you may have with a window or door, including screens. If your screens are old, worn, corroded, or torn, bring them into Bonford Glass and Alliance. Replace those shabby old screens with new aluminum or fiberglass ones that will wear better and last longer. Bonford's experts give you the quality you can depend on and service that's unsurpassed. So even if your best pal chased the cat through the window screen, just take it to Bonford's for a rapid repair. For all your glass and window needs, rely on Bonford Glass, 30 South Union Avenue in Alliance.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
For your Wednesday afternoon, mostly cloudy skies, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high around 82. For the overnight, showers and thunderstorms likely, otherwise mostly cloudy with a low of 67. Another possibility of showers and thunderstorms Thursday morning, then again during the afternoon hours, otherwise mostly cloudy skies and a high near 76. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Getting in the way.
That's right.
Ari's trying to go the other way. Deep right center field. Lee's on the run. He's on the track at the wall. It is gone. A home run. Arias blasts one to the opposite field. Just to the left of Triples Alley. That's a long way, folks. And he hit it out to put the Guardians on top for the first time tonight. 3-2. Left field, Quan makes the running catch this time. Double play. There it is. Double play! There's your Gold Glove left fielder.
Up at the line. Excellent stick there by Lundell. Here's Rosmarinen. Rosmarinen. Back out, jump, back and jump. Score! To Bouchard. Reinhardt with the steal. Nice move. Left to the net. Scores! Gustav Forsling holds. The Panthers begin to celebrate. Panther perfection. The Florida Panthers win their second consecutive Stanley Cup.
And here's the payoff. Swing and a miss, and that will do it. As the Yankees get shut out for the third straight time, only the seventh time in the franchise's history, which started in 1903, that they've been shut out in 3 consecutive games.
Well, sometimes happens to the best of them. Welcome to the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. We are streaming live. Don't forget, check us out on the big streamer, AM 1310 WDPN.com. You can also watch and listen to us as well on the Q92 Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. Well, we were having a fun day today. Got to catch up with Sean Deveney from Athlon Sports, talking NBA Finals, talking about Cavs offseason. Where's Kevin Durant going to land? Who's going to get the gig with the New York Knicks? And we're talking to Mike Birkbeck, outstanding longtime pitching coach for Kent State University. We kind of revisited the 2012 magical ride of the Kent State baseball team that went all the way to Omaha, Nebraska. We got our poll question of the day. You know, how do you usually watch live sports? Your choices: A, cable TV, B, streaming, C, social media highlights, or D, you just check the scores every few minutes. We're getting ready for On This Day in Sports History. Stanley Cup champions, Florida Panthers last night. We got the finals coming back tomorrow. The Guardians, big win over Frisco late last night out in the Bay. We're going to do it again tonight at 9:45. Things were good. We're rolling through this Wednesday afternoon. A little bit of rain here and there, but that's to be expected. And then we find out that Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders was pulled over Tuesday morning at 12:24 a.m. for going 101 miles an hour in a 60-mile-per-hour zone. Per Fox 8 News and a couple of other, well, it's all over the place now. According to Strongsville Police, an Ohio officer stopped, so it was an officer that got him, stopped Shedeur on I-71 North at 12:24 in the morning. Issued a citation. Sanders can fight the ticket in court, or he can just pay the fine. This comes on the heels of a visit to Cleveland John Marshall High School earlier that day or the day before, where he was just being around the kids, telling them about coming to Cleveland, his time in Colorado, his love for football, and to make good choices in life. Listen to your parents. Listen to your coaches. Listen to your teachers. Do the right thing. Make good decisions. And he goes out and drives 100 miles an hour plus on I-71 and got pulled over at 12:24 in the morning. Welcome to Cleveland Browns fandom, everybody. What time is it right now? What is it, about 5:16, 5:17? I'm going to decree again as I pound my hands on the table. It is so hard. It is so difficult. It is so painstaking. It's so difficult to be a Cleveland Browns fan. I used to say it was just hard being a Cleveland sports fan. At least the Cavs gave us a championship in 2016. At least the Indians / Guardians get to the World Series a couple of times and give us some hope. Not the Cleveland Browns. It's almost like they are determined. They are determined for you to pack up your Cleveland Browns fandom and just walk away. It's like they're not going to be happy until you can't take enough of the nonsense and you decide to go elsewhere and get behind another team. Now, in essence, I'm not blaming this Shedeur Sanders being pulled over for going 101 miles an hour. I mean, that's not on Jimmy and Dee. That's not on Andrew Berry. That's not on the clubhouse attendants up in Berea. It's not on his teammates. It's on him. It's on Shedeur Sanders. You know, the fifth round pick in the draft, 144 overall. You know, dad's named Dion. Got a brother named Shiloh. Saying all the right things in minicamp and OTAs, doing all the right things, going around to the schools, telling the kids, make sure now you make good decisions. Don't do anything stupid. Don't put people in harm's way. Listen to your parents and your teachers and your coaches. Gets in the car and says, what the hell? 101 miles an hour. What are you thinking about, Shedeur? What's going through your mind? Now, look, I don't want to make more out of this than what it is. Thank goodness he didn't hurt anybody. He wasn't under the influence. Yeah, he wasn't popping a wheelie. He wasn't going lane to lane and doing all that crazy stuff. But, dude, you're going 101 and a 60 on 71. Not the smartest thing you could do. Not the smartest thing you could do. Especially when your name is Shedeur Sanders. You may be a fifth-round pick. You might be in Cleveland. You might be 144th overall. But your last name, it lights up social media. It makes people turn on their television, check their cell phones, get their camcorders. Who uses a camcorder anymore? You know what I mean. It brings eyeballs to every device that there is because of who you are, what you've done, where you've come from, and where you're at, and where you hope to be. That is on you, young fella. That is on you. Now, I'm sure he's not going to fight this. He'll pay the fine. He'll get his receipt. Insurance will go up a little bit, and that'll be that. Because the group doesn't come back to Berea until good old-fashioned NFL training camp begins. And for the Cleveland Browns, that'll be in August. And I'm assuming that's going to be around the first week in August. So they're on, what do they call it? They're out free. There's no more mandatory anything, no more not mandatory anything. There's no lifting, running, studying. You don't have to be anywhere near Berea. You're out. You're out on your own, and you don't have to come back until camp. You are responsible for you. Kevin Stefanski is not holding your hand. Andrew Berry is not telling you what to do, where to go, what time to leave, what time to get back. Jimmy and Dee are too busy trying to raise money for a shiny domed stadium in Brook Park. They're not checking in with you. You are a grown adult. Your name is Shedeur Sanders. And according to you, you're built for this. Your dad says you've been groomed for this. You know all about the spotlight. You're good. It's okay. I'm Shedeur. I know the bright lights are on me. I'm used to this. This doesn't affect me. I'm fine. I'm good. Now let me go hop in my car at midnight on 71 North and let me gas it at 101 miles an hour in a 60. And now let me get pulled over. That's on you. That's not on anybody else. That's on you. So the next question is, where do you go from here? Do you learn your lesson? Or do you just slough it off? Speeding ticket, big deal. I'm Shedeur Sanders. I'm a member of the Cleveland Browns. We can't do anything wrong in this town. People will eat, drink, sleep, everything Cleveland Browns because, well, it's always been that way. We run this town. We're going to get that new stadium. We're going to go 1-31, but we're the Cleveland Browns because we can get over on you. What's the next path that number 12 in a Browns uniform is going to take? If you're just joining us, breaking news, Shedeur Sanders pulled over Tuesday morning at 12:24 a.m. in Strongsville, I-71, 60-mile-an-hour zone. He was going 101 miles per hour. He can fight the ticket. He can just pay the fine, and he can move on. Your thoughts, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. What does it say about Shedeur Sanders? And what does it say again about the Cleveland Browns? What a toxic environment. What a toxic culture this continues to be. And for a team that doesn't win, quite frankly, they got a lot of guts. They got a lot of guts running commercials for people to buy season tickets and buy their gear. That takes a lot of guts. We'll take a break. 330-821-1310. Don't forget, on this day in sports history coming up, we'll get back into the Shedeur Sanders talk. We'll preview Giants Guardians. We got our poll question of the day. And we'll visit with you until 6 o'clock tonight, right here on AM 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
Got big dreams of a better career? Whether you're looking to learn new skills or level up in your current field, Ohio Means Jobs, Stark and Tuscarawas counties is here to help you turn that daydream into your day job. We'll take care of your training costs so you can focus on building the skills you need for a brighter future in fields such as healthcare or skilled trades. Call us or visit our website at omjwork.com to learn more, because your future is closer than you think.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
All right, it's that time on this day in sports history. We do it Monday through Friday, about 5:25 or so on 1310 WDPN. Another shot of breaking news. First, if you're just tuning in, Shedeur Sanders pulled over for going 101 miles an hour Tuesday morning, 12:24 a.m. on 71 in Strongsville. This bomb from Shams Charania from ESPN. The Los Angeles Lakers are being sold for $10 billion to Mark Walter. $10 billion. The Lakers are going to be sold. Holy cow. On this day in sports history, 1953, 17 Major League Baseball records were tied or broken in one game between the Boston Red Sox and the Detroit Tigers. 1960, Tom Sheehan of the Giants became the oldest first-time manager in Major League Baseball. He was 66 years of age, 2 months, and 18 days old. Wow. All right, it's audio time. 1975. How about this? Rookie Fred Lynn of the Boston Red Sox. 3 home runs, a triple, and a single against the Detroit Tigers.
1975 in Detroit.
Long drive to right field. That's gone. Upper deck. Home run for Fred Lynn. High fly ball right field. Roberts is just looking up. It's gone. Another home run. And it hits the facade above the upper deck. There's a drive to left field. Going back is Meyer. Going way back there, and it's off the wall. Scoring is Wilson. Yastrzemski rounds third. He'll score. Lane going in for third will be in there with a triple. There's a long drive to right field. That's gone. 3 homers in the upper deck. Freddie Lynn. 10 runs batted in. 5 hits in 6 at-bats. And Freddie Lynn is having a night that he will never forget.
How about that? And he was only a rookie. Freddie Lynn, have a day, young fella. And on this day in 1986, remember Don Sutton used to play for the L.A. Angel or the L.A. Dodgers back in the day? Well, he also had a little cup of coffee with the California Angels. And on this day, he won his 300th game.
1-2 the count to Gary Ward. 2 outs in the ninth. He's 1 strike away from 300 victories. He went around and it's over.
And there it is, number 300 for the right-hander, Don Sutton. News and weather coming up next on 1310 WDPN. We'll be right back.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. Federal Reserve officials expect inflation to worsen in the coming months, but they still foresee 2 interest rate cuts by the end of this year, the same as they projected in March. The Fed kept its key rate unchanged for the 4th straight meeting today and said the economy is expanding at what it described as a solid pace. Fed Chair Jerome Powell and other officials have underscored that they are holding off from any changes to their key rate because of the uncertainty surrounding the effect of the tariffs on the economic outlook. Policymakers have expressed particular concern that the duties could create another surge of inflation. The Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a Tennessee law that prohibits the use of medicine and surgery for transgender children. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy reports.
Chief Justice John Roberts wrote for the 6-member majority, holding that the state of Tennessee can prohibit the use of puberty blockers, hormones, and surgery to treat minors with gender dysphoria. Roberts says the voices in the debate raise sincere concerns with profound implications for all, but he says the issue is best left to lawmakers and not judges to settle. The court's 3 liberal justices dissented, with Sonia Sotomayor writing that the court has authorized untold harm to transgender children and the parents and families who love them.
There's still no indication as to whether the U.S. would wade into the conflict between Israel and Iran. Talks between the Iranians and the Americans broke down, and President Trump has expressed his displeasure with the conflict. And at an event at the White House today, the president said Iran is late to negotiating now.
Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country.
On Tuesday, Trump demanded in a social media post that Iran surrender without conditions. Iran's supreme leader spoke today, rejecting U.S. calls for surrender in the face of more Israeli strikes, and warned that any military involvement by the Americans would cause irreparable damage to them. A jury has found Karen Reed not guilty of second-degree murder in the death of her Boston police officer boyfriend, but guilty of a lesser charge of drunken driving. The jury handed down its decision today after deliberating for at least 22 hours since June 13th. The verdict comes nearly a year after a separate jury deadlocked over whether Reed killed John O'Keefe in 2022. Along with the second-degree murder charge, Reed also faces charges of manslaughter and leaving the scene for allegedly striking O'Keefe with her SUV during a blizzard and leaving him to die in the snow. The case attracted international attention, with many people siding with the defense argument that Reed was framed by police. It's 78 degrees in Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. A chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high reaching 82. Showers and thunderstorms likely again overnight. Mostly cloudy and a low dipping to 67. Keep the umbrella handy Thursday. Mostly cloudy. A chance of showers and thunderstorms during the morning and afternoon hours. A high of 76. That's your AM 1310 WDPN weather.
Are you ready to up your mealtime game with a beautiful new dining suite? How about your movie nights on the couch? Is more comfortable seating on your list this year? Maybe you just need a better night's rest. Whatever the case, when we spend time at home with our families, we all want quality, comfort, and names we can trust. That's why Grove's appliances, furniture sets, and even their mattresses make all the difference. With a beautiful showroom full of ideas and over 700 fabric choices for furniture, you'll be sure to find something that will fit beautifully into your home. On a budget, Grove has a scratch and dent room filled with appliances with minor aesthetic blemishes that can help you replace that fridge on the fritz for a fraction of the cost. Come and see why Grove is better than big box stores. Explore your options and get to know Grove's amazing staff and stellar service team to help with all of your needs.
Come see us at Grove, where it always feels like home.
You're listening to the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Welcome back, everybody. Phone lines are open, 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. A couple of breaking news nuggets just happening here within the last 45 minutes or so. Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders pulled over I-71 in Strongsville, 60-mile-an-hour limit. He was going 101 miles an hour. 12:24 a.m., Strongsville police issued the ticket. Sanders can fight it in court, or he can just pay the bill. More on that coming up. And then Shams Charania from ESPN drops one. The Los Angeles Lakers have gone into an agreement with Michael Walter. He will buy the Los Angeles Lakers for a reported $10 billion. That's billion with a B. I remember Jerry Buss, when he first bought the Lakers, I think he paid $675 million. Well, they're being sold for $10 billion. Whew, that is a different tax bracket, ladies and gentlemen. That is really unbelievable. So, crazy stuff going on here the last half hour. Shedeur Sanders gets pulled over. Lakers are going to be sold for $10 billion. Wow. Where do you even begin? Now, I don't know who Michael Walter is. I probably should know of him or heard of him if he's going to write a check for $10 billion. But he must be loaded. And then there's Shedeur Sanders, had that wild but very short career in Colorado. Helped take the Colorado Buffalo football program to places that it had not seen in decades. Now, they never made it to the playoffs. Obviously, they never made it to a national championship game. But Dion and Shedeur and who's the young guy that got drafted by Jacksonville, the wide receiver, they put the Colorado football back on the map. They haven't been good since Bill McCartney was there. And they maybe had a good year, too, with Gary Barnett. But other than that, they've been garbage. So now their football program is up and running. They're selling games out. Fox is showing up. ESPN Game Day is showing up. They're out there. And Shedeur was doing Shedeur things. Making plays with his legs, with his arm. He did have a terrible offensive line, I'll give you that. So he had to do some things, okay? He had to be ready for the smoke, and he was ready. In my opinion, though, completely overhyped coming out. Completely overhyped as a quarterback to play in the NFL. And it showed. He got picked in the 5th round. And if it wouldn't have been Jimmy craving attention and possible marketing and revenue generation and flash and dash, he might not have been drafted until the 7th round. But Jimmy couldn't help himself, so they took him. That's under the bridge now, okay? That's under the bridge. So now he's a Cleveland Brown. Been doing all the right things, saying all the right things. Looked like he actually he changed his mechanics a little bit. I liked what I saw there in the limited clips that we would see on social media. Going around to the schools. He was just a Cleveland John Marshall a couple days ago. Kids, do the right thing. Don't make bad decisions. Listen to people. You saw stories kind of percolating. He might be coming up the chart a little bit. Keep your eyes on Shedeur Sanders when training camp begins in Berea. Watch out. This guy might be that story. He might go from the 144th pick in the NFL draft. He might grow to be the second guy in command. He might overtake Joe Flacco. They might get rid of Kenny Pickett. Shedeur is Shedeurin. He's making moves. We're all talking about him. We're buying his jersey. We're watching all his stuff on social media. We're buying in to the brand that is Shedeur Sanders. And he goes out and drives 101 miles an hour, gets pulled over. What? How are we feeling about number 12 now? Is it because we're in June? Training camp is a little ways away. The NFL, for the most part, and I say for the most part because they never really go away, they're always there. They set up their business year, so they are always there. But now is supposed to be the quiet time. I know some teams are having mandatory minicamp this week. There's like 7 or 8 teams still out of the 32. And when they're done, it's going to be real quiet for the next 6 weeks. Guys will go on vacation. They'll go here. They'll go there. They'll do this. They'll do that. Somebody gets into trouble. Some idiot always gets in trouble. Okay. And then a couple of weeks goes by. We forget about it because we're swimming, we're golfing, we're watching baseball, we're going to picnics, we're getting ready for things. We forget about it. So then camp comes around. Everybody's back in town. We're starting practices. People are coming out. They're getting pictures. They're getting autographs. We're talking about preseason game 1. We're talking about the depth chart. We're talking about, we're going to miss Nick Chubb. We're talking about Shedeur Sanders. Trust me, the whole speeding ticket thing, it probably won't even be around by then. Especially if he goes and pays it, doesn't fight it in court, we'll forget about it. And everybody will be right back to where they always are. Salivating with a bib on and a knife and a fork and salt and pepper in their hands and ready to dig in to what the NFL has to offer. It's the Cleveland Browns. This is our year. Woof, woof, woof. My rear end. It's the same song and dance every single year. It's just a different guy with a new jersey and a different number. It's the same thing every year. And most just keep coming back to the dinner table. They took your plate, you went and got another one, and you went and filled up again. And you're ready to sit down. You got your knife and your fork in your hand. You got your napkins. You got your beverage over here. You've cleared all the space out for your table, and you bring another big heaping plate of Cleveland Browns crap. And you can't wait to dig in and see what it's like. Full well knowing, you know it's going to be garbage. Why? Because it always is. And this is just another example today about the cockamamie culture under the Cleveland Browns umbrella. Welcome to Cleveland, Ohio. The armpit of the sports world with the NFL. Not Major League Baseball. I mean, we make fun of the Guardians, believe you me, and I do my fair share. But you know what? Good dudes. They win a little bit. They do it the right way. Cavaliers got you a title in 2016. We'll celebrate that anniversary tomorrow. We're not going to let Shador all over that. Cleveland Monsters got you a Calder Cup trophy. Minor league hockey. And then there's the Cleveland Browns. Boy, what an apropos nickname. The Browns. I hope they have that sponsorship deal with Dude Wipes again. That's just who they are and what they do. Whether it's the front office, on the field, in the locker room, down in the flats, or on I-71. It's the same thing over and over and over again. How much more are you going to take? And sorry, if I sound like I'm being really mean to Shador Sanders, that all comes with the territory. That's the way it is. That's what you signed up for. This is what you were built for. Daddy Dion says this is what you have been groomed for. You know all about the spotlight and how to treat and how to react and how to decide things. No big deal coming from Boulder, Colorado. We're good. We're the Sanders. You forgot you shouldn't get in your car and drive 101 miles an hour in a 60-mile-per-hour zone. And not to say that a lot of people haven't been pulled over on 71 in Strongsville. That seems to be one of those areas where they're watching. But you got to know better. It's 12:30 in the morning, Shador. You got to know better. You got to be smarter than that. And you weren't. Does it reflect well on him? Nope. Does it reflect well on the Cleveland Browns? Does it reflect well on the NFL? Nope. But you know what? It doesn't matter because the shield, the NFL shield, is nothing but pure Teflon. Nothing can penetrate the shield. Nothing. Not speeding, not murder, not assault. Nothing penetrates the shield. The shield will always live because it always has. And now the Cleveland Browns have another offseason to get through, another 6 weeks. And now this is going to be in the news. It's going to be all over the internet. It's going to be talked about, chopped up, chewed up, spit out. And then they'll forget about it. And training camp will be here, and people have their bucket hats on, their Browns jerseys, wearing your ridiculous dog bone chains around your neck. And you'll be fighting to get over the fence up in Berea to watch training camp for a team that probably won't win 4 games. Why? That's just what you do. That's just what you've been doing. That's what you've always done. And you're not going to let Shedeur Sanders and a 100-mile-an-hour speeding ticket get in your way. Browns aren't going to let it get in their way. The National Football League's not going to let it get in their way either. It's almost uncanny. It's almost incredible. It's almost amazing that Groundhog Day has reared its head again, and this time it's in the month of June. We'll take a break. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on 1310 WDPN and AM1310WDPN.com. Stay with us.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Standing at the edge of a rocky shore, you breathe in the cool, salty air, watching the sun disappear on the horizon. Across the globe, someone begins their day along a sandy beach, listening to the rhythm of the crashing waves. You each envision a world beneath the water, vibrant life in every imaginable form. Now, imagine it's all gone. What was once a place of wonder and beauty is now a dull, lifeless wasteland. Food, jobs, medicine, all gifts from the ocean, all gone. Time is running out to protect our oceans, and without our love, everything the oceans provide can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our oceans. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
Hey drivers, it's Ryan Blaney, your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion and driver of the number 12 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Do you know one of the most important things that helps keep my car going on the track? Tire pressure. Keeping your tires properly inflated is crucial for safe stopping power and better gas mileage. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by a local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association
This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Yes, never a shortage of things to talk about. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Streaming live at AM1310WDPN.com. We got about 8 minutes left in the program. I counted a 14-minute rant on Shedeur and the Browns and the slop that they continue to serve up every single year. And everybody's just there, oinking, eating, ready to go. It's unbelievable. Give me my knife and fork and keg. I'm ready for some. It's the same thing every year. Shedeur. Am I too tough on? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think that was justified, and I'm gonna go with that because the history of this organization, and I'll go with since 1999. Okay, let's just do that. So it's been 26 years of hot garbage for the most part. 95% of it has been garbage. And it just keeps happening. People keep making dumb mistakes. People in the front office make dumb decisions. Players do stupid things. Get your season tickets today. Roof. I don't get it. I don't even think Cleveland Browns, I don't even think it's good enough to be called the armpit of the NFL. I'm sure if I put my head together, I could figure out something else. But man, you know what, Rainsburg, be thankful. Be thankful that you have never really, truly, fully gotten sucked in.
Oh no, I'm
be a diehard fan
of
a certain team.
Every day. Every day I see how annoyed you are at the Browns. I'm very glad that it is not something that consumes my brain.
You will save yourself so much time, stress, money, brain cells.
Yeah, I'll spend all that time, money, and brain cells on other stupid things that make me angry. So
I just when you thought it was going to be a nice little small canoe ride down the river and to get us to the beginning of training camp, it was almost too good to be true. Somebody always has to screw it up. Somebody always does something dumb that casts a spell over the Browns or the Cleveland Browns offseason, the regular season, the preseason, you name it. It's like clockwork. Okay, who's going to gum up the works today? I'll bet you it's somebody with a brown and orange uniform. I guarantee it. Boy, you're making an awful big deal about this. So what? The guy got speeding. He got pulled over. Probably he'll pay his ticket and we'll be done with it. Not that big of a deal. No. This is bigger than that. This just adds to the frustration. That's all it is.
Well, the way I see it, if you're somebody like that who has access to large amounts of money and you want to go 101 miles an hour, you could pay to do that somewhere legally. And that's totally fine to go 101 miles on a racetrack. You want to go 300 miles an hour, you could do that. Just do it legally. I don't think that's that hard to ask.
Go to the Autobahn.
Yeah, go to Germany.
Go to Germany.
Fly to Germany and go as fast as you want on the highway.
Or go out to Nevada, where there's stretches of 50 and 60 miles of nothing but roads and cactus. Right? Not the smartest thing to do on I-71 in Strongsville, where they are always watching. And if it's not a live officer, they're going to get you on the camera. And you're going to go to your mailbox and you're going to open up a little envelope, and it's going to be a little present from the city of Strongsville. And there's going to be your picture. And then there's going to say, hey, we got you going so-and-so miles an hour in a 60 at this time, this date. Please pay. Thank you. The city of Strongsville. Look, I get it. I guess I understand the need for people to go 100 miles an hour. We have people do it in the Grand Prix and NASCAR, and they're going a hell of a lot faster than that. I get it. Just realize who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. And you struck out on all those. Shador, you struck out on every one of them. And now you're going to, this is another thing now that'll be talked about. Our other big story today, the Los Angeles Lakers are being sold to Michael Walter. $10 billion. It's courtesy of Sham Sharami on ESPN. More details coming out, but it's a $10 billion price tag for the Lakers, and they're going to be sold from the Buss family. Holy smokes. I wonder how that affects LeBron. I mean, hey, if this could be a little out. You're not comfortable with the new owners. You love the Buss family. That's why you came to L.A. This could be one of those. This could be a little something for him to maybe say, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to get on out. Maybe time to go somewhere else. Say Cleveland. All right, we got to go. Phil was warming up in the background. Great show today. Thanks to my guest, Kent State pitching coach Mike Birkbeck and Sean Deveney from Athlon Sports. We talked a lot of good NBA today. Guards and Giants coming up tonight at 9:45. They'll play at 3:35 tomorrow in San Francisco. Speaking of tomorrow, it's a 3-question Thursday. We got Matt Underwood from Guardians TV coming up Friday. And we got some other cool things coming your way as well. Thanks to all the callers, the emailers. Nobody emails. Yeah, they do. Text. And thanks for dropping all the comments on all of our social media platforms. Remember, go Guards, go Cavs, go Browns, go Bucks. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.